Hello everyone, Conor here. Just as a small disclaimer, some things we may talk about on the pod shouldn't be attempted or recreated. Remember to keep everything legal, keep it between the ages, and don't tear up the ground while you're on the pull. Well folks, how's you going? You're listening to the Agri Automotive Pod by Limited Stop Differences, your perfect blend of cars, tractors and everything between. I'm Conor.
I'm Michael. We're just going to do a wee round the table. I'm Adam.
I'm Hugh.
I'm Joe.
I'm Donald.
Oh, you remember your name. And we're small. if you're listening to this on Spotify, me and Conor have been, always give your guest your best. So we've decided we're going to sit on like two deck chairs that was it you or Joe brought these up?
Me, that's
you brought this up. So me and Conor sitting here. Now everyone else here is quite tall. Me and Conor's probably nearly the shortest. And
I am definitely the shortest.
Yeah, now we're sitting even shorter again, so yeah. And we're recording off a different mic setup, so this could sound like absolute AIDS.
This could be a total balls.
Well, it couldn't be any worse than some other stuff we've managed to do. If I can edit a full podcast where you can't hear my microphone, we'll be alright with us.
I'll make it work.
We'll figure it out.
This could either be in Sunday, I'm never fucking doing that again. Never.
I know it will be.
Or anybody before my microphone.
As long as you do not put a TikTok up to say that you're having a break or something.
It's been 1 year, 1 month, a week, and nearly a couple of days on top since I last had a metal breakdown on TikTok.
At least you're not counting.
No, you're counting.
What episode are we on here?
20.
You're way behind.
Oh, Jesus, I'm 65.
That's not so bad.
65. Ahiohill special. So there's no real what's new, no real main topic. We're just going to chat shit for
a while.
And the door's going to join in apparently. So, right, kick off then. What, how is everybody since?
Tired.
Yeah. Has anybody recovered yet?
Not fully.
No. That was a fucking siege. And to be honest, whenever mans were saying...
How's your hole, by the way?
It's not my hole. It's my back and my shoulders.
Oh, right.
Because like basically, you've seen it, like coming out, was it for Moyer, Mitchelstown or one of them places, we were coming to Hull, and literally I had been flung out of the cab like an injector suit.
It was just as we got to Sean Collins, is that wee humpback bridge.
Oh, stop. Literally just...
All I seen in Joe's mirror in the Jeep was you just going
like every time, it wasn't so, like, because the seat's comfy enough in terms of actual, your arch comfort.
How?
Because
it bounces you. You
no,
don't
the
bounce
problem is you're bracing for impact. That's why it's sore in the neck and shoulders. It's like constantly fucking crash landing. You're constantly like, and that happened a lot. But like, I'm starting to think we may have to maybe put something in front of this door.
Go drive the car into it.
Car and I just go and hold the door shut there.
For 3.5 hours. 3.5 hours.
Alright. There you go. We have Hugh's sister Caroline on the other side of the camera helping us out here because it's such a widespread. You've got your shout out. Well done. Good job, Caroline. Right, so
we have a director for once.
So the idea was that we basically give a bit of a backstory to the whole event. About
You bought map route.
That's actually probably where it really started. That is the start. Because when I bought the map row off Jeremy 2 years ago, then last year me and Conor decided we were going to go down the country for an interview. And then
no. You just said
and goes to Conor, we should go to that Ahiohill Vintage thing we're doing, because I'd seen it all over Grassmen and all, they had posted about it, and a few of them other ones had all posted about it. And I was like, Jeremy was like, I live up the road from there, it's great, you should come down. And if I was even travelling with work to Cork or whatever, I always made a point to land over to Jeremy's, because after I bought the mapper off me, added me in Snapchat, I realised he was a mad cunt, and just kept chatting to him. I talk to Jeremy nearly every day, and it's normally just videos of all the tomfoolery he gets up to, but we stayed friendly. And so then last year, me and Conor went to Ahiohill, and hey, it was class.
Well, we went to fundraiser.
We
first. An hour of it, and then we went down the road and we met Sean Fitz.
When we recorded episode
and
43 with Seamus Fitzgerald.
Every road in Waterford is private.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, every road is paved. Even the toll bridge. Even the toll bridge is fucking paved.
Straight, yeah.
You know, it was amazing.
I hate the tax them ones you're paying down there for them private roads, but fair play.
So then we went from there and we stayed in Mooncoy.
They follow us on TikTok, Rose and Mooncoin. Good spot. Apparently we're welcome anytime we come back through again.
Yes, right enough. I played pool and nobody got thick.
No, not at all.
We watched the darts
Definitely
tournament.
not a bunch of cheating bastards down there.
No,
Not at all.
Changed the rules every game. You know.
Yep, no.
And then we made it to Jeremy's, which turned into
A fucking siege.
yes. He said, "Sure, we'll go." And the thing he's about to say this for us.
Aye.
That turned into going back 40 years ago.
Aye. But you know, right, so you've all seen the 200 horsepower major this year. Right?
Yes.
You know that lay in the corner of the yard here this year came out as arm's way.
Maybe
No,
Monday she awakened.
That's see Joe's Snapchat actually. Well, last year, Jeremy, you know the single shot he had in the back of the 7810?
Yeah.
I know that went on the back of the major last year.
No, it wasn't.
It was?
It wasn't that one, no.
Was it not?
Because
That was
as
double
Phil
jump.
Kenna was reversing the lorry back, he was like, I'm not going to say a West Cork accent, but Jeremy just went, "Do you mind the single shot? The shaft broke on? Yeah. There it
I
is."
thought it was the NC he was running.
No, he was like, "Oh, there it is." And I was like, "Alright, have you used it since?" No.
Because he hit a wild bad stone last year at Ahiohill. So I'm not surprised, that's the most uncomfortable field I've ever been in. No harm, Dennis and the lads, but
It was definitely played the one way.
Whoever
Motivated the one way. Or harder the one way.
Whoever showed out that field, he was taken into a dark room and beaten. But
Wow.
like, that's right. He caught her last year. But before that, like, we landed up onto the field, and I was like, Conor, should jump you in the 390, and you were like, what a crack.
So
He was just
missing a door, clutch was terrible.
back one day.
That's just over 390.
Yeah. Realistically,
Air
same
con-
character, as we would say.
Well, I was like, and just you being you, like, don't get excited about anything. I was like, Conor, you jump up and do a load in the 390. I suppose, maybe. Aye, okay.
I'm not that dour.
Were you rough?
No, not really, no.
No,
You were just like taking it all in and stuff to be like, where the hell am I? Why am I here?
to be fair, my reaction last year was Craig Moss this year. He was just like,
That's a good way of putting it.
Craig didn't know what was going on.
Yeah. I think Craig was
"You enjoyed yourself, Craig?"
not a few words. But we, so then we done that. Use all kind of use probably anybody that actually listens to this pod, all three people listen to it. I'm pretty sure actually we're just talking amongst each other because nobody else will be listening because we're all here.
I don't know.
Fuck you. That's bad form.
I just want to give you abuse when I listen to you if I can.
There's quite a few people find that relatable.
I suppose you should start texting abuse.
At 1:38, 27 seconds,
I think I did
you're a
that.
dick.
I think I did that to you one time. We were talking about Gallardo. We were talking about Lamborghini doors. I was like, the Lamborghini Gallardo didn't actually have Lambo doors. This was months ago. And you're like, oh right.
Anyway, avoiding from Adams on the spectrum conversations, and moving back.
Alright, you want to tell them?
So then, the next thing then we go, you all know this story anyway. Conor and Jeremy take off up the field. Jeremy decides to give a big rev to the major, and the next thing, the PTO just explodes. And Conor just literally goes from to
It's more the fact that, naturally you think the tractor would have carried with some safety. No.
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 And the man
The
just.
tractor has a roll bar.
Well, unless the wheels would have right up there, fair enough. It could happen. But that broke, and then he took PTO shaft off the major, and then he drove around the field like a fucking Egypt. And then that other PTO shaft also broke because it chilled on the ground.
Yeah.
And then there was many fucks, and then it'll be gone.
And then we ended up cutting. I think in the end up we tried to salvage stuff, and then we ended up
That's right. He's cut a shaft too
ended
short.
Up, yeah. No, we didn't cut a shaft too short. He cut a shaft too short. I made him stand there going, that's grand. But like, you shouldn't trust my units of measurement.
No. We're always swinging our legs.
Your banner maybe says that as well, doesn't it?
We'll get that.
Violation right there.
But so I'm just making sure it's still. Yep, we're recording. So anyway, I went to Ahiohill last year, and I mean, me and you were completely blown away. We were like,
We missed the first half of the day, but it was deadly.
Look, we seen basically from the Tim Sheehan demonstration that they had last year, and I was only there basically for the 160, 90 and 180, 90s, which we're also there this year. One of them was. And I just remember being like, this is class, and Jeremy was like, would you come back again? And I was like, I'd love to have my own tractor here. And sort of was like, well, it'd be a fortune to bring it down, it'd be wild money to bring it down to Cork. And then you'd have to be turning around and bringing it back up the road again. It's not like you're going to be leaving it down here for Jeremy to fit her away with as much as that would be his ideal world.
Fast forward, he currently is.
I was about to say, where's
It's
the
happening
time,
as ideal
Michael?
world.
Do you know what? I've seen Hugh's tractor in the Snapchats. I've seen his own tractors in the Snapchats. I haven't seen mine.
You're watching.
I got a Snapchat from.
Where's the hedge?
The only thing I said was don't put her in a harvester. Do whatever you want, go and draw whatever you want, just don't put her in a harvester. So
No,
no, she wasn't in a harvester. I'm not
She
saying
was just in the trailer, he was just playing about with her.
oh, you can do that all day.
You may be offered a part exchange.
I know, did someone say something he was just going to send the 380 up the road whether I liked it or not? That was you.
I said, well, if you want the trailer, like, you can't do much about it.
I'd walk the Cork. But then, so it comes around then till, I think it was the Moira model show. It's just after we recorded last time with you, because we put out that podcast on a Thursday night because the idea was people building their stands for Moira.
Something
They
to listen
listened on
to.
the Friday. So then at Moira model show we got chatting to Gareth Built, Grassman.
No. You got chatting to
You
Gareth.
were there too.
An hour and a half after you were there.
Ah, but Gareth can talk as well, that's not a problem.
I'm not, excuse me, I'm not saying he can't, but I'm saying you get the conversation going and I heard the tail end of it.
Ah, okay, fair enough. And he was, the original thing was, I said I'd love to take my tractor down. He says, sure, take my JCB down. He's like, put the tractor in the low loader on and take it down to my JCB. And I was like, whilst that's not a bad idea, and I really appreciate that, I don't know if I feel comfortable driving someone else's track. I've never driven a fast track in my life. I'm sure once you get onto it, you'll be fine, but
Your Amarok's harder to drive.
really?
Well, I've drove the 330.
Ah, I suppose I never bothered driving that.
I was offered and declined, and I went, what am I doing? So I swiftly undeclined.
See, I got to drive full DeLorean instead.
Kind of regret getting the Amarok at that point.
You were hungry at that stage.
I was a wee bit.
You were hungry all weekend.
I had to dissociate myself away from you.
We so then after that we were me and Gareth got chatting again at Dubshed, and I was like, do you know what? If you were to drive yourself, but do it for charity. And then Gareth was like, hey, and wouldn't it be class if you landed down to Sean Collins and you got like a load of silage and all, and like it was on video and there's a wee bit of recording and all of it. He goes, that'd be class, and you'd make like a proper weekend. He's like, you could stop at XYZ down the country. And I was like, how long cheap would all that night ago? And then I goes, but hey, it would be class to do something like that for charity. Like it would be unreal. And then he was like, oh, you know, whatever you do, he goes, I support you. He goes, I'm more than happy to help out for charity. And when a man turns around and says that to you, you're kind of like, right, well, that's appreciated a lot. So that kind of put the cogs in motion. And then was at the start of June, Conor, we set up the Just Giving page.
So the start of June, again, excuse me, I'm like someone throat. You set up the Just Giving page.
Using the royal we here, like, but
So essentially, you had said about the shed, you said about the conversation with Gareth, and I just basically tried to get off home, and then as soon as you got the go ahead from me, you didn't have to wait an hour. There was Just Giving page up. I was like, I have to do this now.
well, my first thing with the Just Giving page was like, if I could put, like, I was like, I'll set it up as £1,000. And if we got $5 grand, but I do remember saying to you, like in April time, like after Dubshed, I was like, hey, we could maybe get 10 grand out of this. Maybe we could get 10 grand. I set it up as 1,000, and I think within the first day we were at £1,200. And I was like, holy shit. So then I changed it to 5,000. And I think then till we stopped promoting it, because then the Donegal rally was coming up and we kind of changed our or Focus, we were sitting at like 3.5 grand. And then I was like, oh, right, well that's fairly good going. And then Joe around that same stage, you then said, you're offering to come, and I was like, right, this man's fucking mad, but fair play. And
No one else to be at.
Joe, I've seen your Snapchats, you've plenty to be at. You got your own stuff to be organising and all as well at the same time.
I've done a bit of that over the weekend too.
Oh, really?
Aye. We weren't going that hard down the road, so.
No. Mulligan's tractor on 7th September. Be there. Apart from me, because it's my
You see
wedding.
me at it, aye.
But,
I might be slightly hungover for that day too.
but
I am every year.
that's like hung over the day after.
Oh, really hungover the day after.
Do you take the day after off, or does Mervyn just expect you still to be there?
No, well, there was one year I was on the day after, but luckily enough, it was only for half a day to cover. It wasn't nice.
Dealing with people like me coming and looking for stuff that they're not going to buy. And
I just sort of went into the store and hid.
That's what we would all do.
But so then the next thing, as soon as I posted as well, I think I put it in the tractor pulling group.
You had the thing up an hour, and I basically went to Dad and I said, look, I'm going to this weekend in Cork anyway, because I had already established that there was going to carload us or a few of us go down depending on what way folks' work was. And then I was like, Michael, do you mind another tractor tagging on that?
So I was just checking I was making.
And
You took a picture of the 40K like half poking out the shed.
I
remember
because I was working cattle and I had 2 minutes between batches or something. I was checking my phone and you'd sent it as a message into. I know it was on Facebook. It wasn't even on the group chat at that stage.
Was it? I thought it was under the live, but I posted it into the WhatsApp group because you sent me the picture in the WhatsApp group.
Was it?
I think so. Wow, my man,
I-
I have a command.
I sent you. I thought it was I sent you a Snapchat with the 40 sticking out of the shed.
Same difference.
Same thing.
But it was saying you were for doing it then. Joe said he'd come along, and then we kind of put a pause on it for Donegal Rally. And after Donegal Rally, I was like, right, we'll make the push. And then me and you made the video.
Before that though,
Oh,
well, I had probably no real tractor go down, just in case my own was needed at home.
this is
then-
quite a big part of the story, and I just forgot all about this. You're right.
Funny that way. So you talked to Garth and I said, sure, wonder if he wouldn't mind me borrowing his tractor or one of his tractors. Again, you had more relationship with him. So I was like, this could be funky because...
That's because just for 2 years can chat shit, like, that's all it is.
But so messaged him and he said he could help. And I was like, oh, happy days. But again, I didn't know that. I thought it was definitely a yes or no. And then it wasn't until, about 3 weeks before it or so. Then he had a bit of a break from the shows. And then he wrote into the chat you had created for the long draw. And the more or less was saying about the Mancy. And then
He originally thought you would take the 6290 because he goes, oh, Conor's obviously a massive man.
And then I said about the TM and the Red Rock. TM was getting work done to her, and the Red Rock still, I think, lying in the Red
That's
Rock.
a hard Red
getting
Rock.
hit.
Yeah.
So he was saying essentially he would have. You can't buy a classic Red Rock now, so he's getting the Red Rock done to be like brand new.
Yeah.
The Cane's obviously a classic one, and then I used the classic air. So I have an emotional attachment really to TM. That's why I went for it over the 90. So don't get me wrong, wouldn't have turned down the 90 if TM wasn't available.
Like, and I was sitting half kind of going like, if anything happens, I might be relying on the 90 at this point. Like,
So
did a faster run doing
and
that.
there was Oliver as well. Oliver could have been huge.
Fuck the ears. Sorry,
But,
not sorry at all actually.
so yeah, good to go ahead for it. We didn't announce anything like that there because there was no point in saying something unless it was confirmed.
We kept it pretty much under wraps. We knew Sam was working at the New Holland. No better man, to be fair.
I may have told everybody that asked me about it. There's a possibility I could be driving one of Grassman's tractors.
Yeah.
It's a possibility.
But that was the idea because even whenever you got us set up a classic tractor.
Yeah.
And classic tractor, they said to me like, "What are you driving, or what's our tractor?" And I says, "Unconfirmed at the minute." I goes, "He's taking a tractor. That's all we know is he's taking a tractor." And So then, fast forward, then we dropped that video. And once you confirmed that you were able to get a tractor of some description from Grassman,
Yeah.
all being well, the TM140, and I kept calling it TM150 all weekend.
Yes.
But TM140.
You swear you drove one before?
Aye, about that. So then we put out the big video, and then from we put out that video, I think we went more or less to like 6 or 7k,
Yeah, real quick.
like that.
To be fair, a lot of people reposted, like Evenfield reposted it,
Yeah.
Grassman reposted it, everybody here more or less reposted it. It was a great job, like. But it's funny then, with TikTok, you can put up a random video, like the one with Caitlin in it,
Mm-hmm.
has what
It's over
completely,
100,000 views.
fairly viral.
That's mad.
Now, like, it'd have been class if that video had have maybe for a bit more scope, but it went fairly viral on
It did.
Facebook.
It still, yeah, it went really, really big on Facebook. Really big. It done really well.
Mic recording.
It's boy.
Don't keep me right. Good morning. And
This boy knows a crack.
so then we posted that up, and then that kind of let us in, and then people started asking me, was I nervous? Were any of the rest of you nervous? Were you nervous?
No, I was. The only time I got nervous when I hurt my back
Yeah.
the week before it.
That makes one of us. You weren't nervous at all, really, were you? Oh, you probably were nervous.
Yeah.
You were
Um,
nervous the entire weekend, we
It
were
was full of nerves.
You know what?
You
were.
were a wreck.
Oh, I was a wreck.
I can mind we had driven, this is the Wednesday before, went up to Garth to get like finalised sort of plan what he was thinking of doing, what we were thinking of doing. And you know when you were, you weren't shiting yourself.
I was.
Oh, well, to be fair, you
100%,
were.
I was.
There was me being like, keep it grand, never worry about it, sure, like, we'll go down, be a weekend of crack, and you were just like,
You kept saying that. You're like, it's going to be a great weekend, man. Like, it's going to be a great weekend if we make it.
But I was like, worst case scenario was Gregson and said, you have 2 to 3 lorries in standby.
At any stage, yes, we wouldn't have been waiting for long. But the thing is, whenever everybody was given so much money, it nearly felt like you had to make it. Even if,
But then if you have two pickups full of spares, people with rough, a good mechanical knowledge, sure, like, you would have got yourself out of bed regardless. You know?
Oh, well, you
You know,
had me lying on this TM at the side
you
of
know,
the road.
we
Like.
had, like, at the end of the day, we had Sam Cole on the end of the phone. Everything was new home, technically. You know, with Fiat more or less new home at that stage. So, like, you had a good, the
Aye,
one
it was
week actually
serious.
did have Hugh straight in the phone. Like, I have no idea what TMs.
I was
We worked on
testing
the
solenoids and
board.
everything underneath there.
The sheer scope of the amount of people that we had down the country, though, it wouldn't have took long for somebody
and even,
to know somebody.
and even as
to get
time
to
went
us.
on, I was getting messages from people saying, if you need a place to stay, if you need us to run food out to you, if you need us to run whatever out to you, like, you can, like, just don't be feared.
My phone was the same. It was
Honestly,
kept going off with boys messaging, oh, will you be passing here? Either one's asking where we're going to be passing, if we knew when we'd be passing places, or look, if you need anything, if anything breaks down, do not hesitate, here's my number.
Pretty much that's the same as what I
I
was
was
getting.
getting ones with coffee shops. There were, now, I only seen them after, but there was places like, if you drive by the door, do not refuse to stop in, call in for coffee and that.
Problem is, I was that scared of being caught on the phone that I was like, I don't want to be caught on the phone and that fuck up the entire run, because of the way you can see. I don't know, maybe if you can hide a bit slightly better.
As long as it's a hands-free holder, you can.
It's in the cradle.
But if you're doing that there,
Doesn't
so
matter, I could half the way down the road, like.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
Well, it's no different than you changing something on the radio.
I still don't know if
It's
that's
an unlocked phone, to my knowledge, being used is still points.
as far as I'm aware, that's what it is too. Like,
Genuinely, would police drive by when I've allegedly been changing stuff on the phone. like.
It all depends on what you're doing, what speed you're doing, and what you're on.
how much of
The-
a complex officer is.
Yeah, there's how long is a piece of string when it comes to that stuff.
Well, I was allegedly checking things like,
The other thing is, you were relying on me probably for the sat nav. Although you said the sat
I had
nav.
sat nav.
I had it running too.
Start me on that sat now. Still a touchy subject, man.
With my.
Like N40, whatever it was called.
Down in
Touchy
Cork.
We can get on to that. We can get on to that. We'll do the whole run from start to finish, but prep for yourselves and prep for me was really the prep started the Monday. I knew the tractor was alright. Prep really started the Monday. We put on the battery tray on Monday night.
I give you more support. Put in the battery tray.
And then on Tuesday night, I serviced it, but I didn't get servicing it till later on, and I had to go and left the two-way radios as well. And then Wednesday night we went up the Grassman, and then Thursday night for me then was putting the banners on.
And you're up at me getting
There was more on Thursday.
supplies
We
from
were up
mine
with you
too.
Wednesday night after Grassman. We landed up to get diesel up with you. That's
Yeah.
right.
And then when did you go to JB Tires?
So JB Tires was a Tuesday afternoon.
Tuesday
So
afternoon.
JB Tires, unreal.
To be honest, there's that much fucking happened.
Yeah.
It's so easy to even nearly bypass them.
JB Tires, I went to them. I left to go to JB Tires, and actually, as I was heading up the road to JB Tires, the tractor wouldn't rev up past 13 or 2350, and my Fiat revs 2700. And that 350 RPM in top gear is a considerable amount. Like, I can gain a mile an hour nearly on the 50 RPM from 2650 to 2700, as I found out in the last day coming into Cork. And but I remember I started shitting myself, so I messaged Joe, or I think I was Snapchatting you, Joe, and I was like, this thing's not revving out, and you were like, weak gear. Now I bought that tractor off by Harry. Do you know weak gear and it works for
Yep.
Harry? So then Joe was like, I've texted Kieran there, go you on ahead and call in. And I was like, man, good man, Joe. So landed up, Harry goes, yep, we'll take a look at her. Throttle cable was bent out funny and she wasn't revving back. Now the throttle cable still sticks in full throttle. If you're full throttle for a while, you lift off, she delays for maybe half a second and then lifts off, but you get used to it. But she was bent out of shape and she was caught in something. And then Harry, but then I was like, I just want them boys to look at her anyway. And they were around her and they were like, no, she's 100%, she's grand. So, good man, Joe. Forgive me short of there.
No problem.
And then ended up Harry threw me money for the charity. And I was like, this is kind of a weird situation. I come to you to do work and you give me money. This is great. I would like this more often. I went up to JB Tires then. JB's then took the tyres off the super singles I had. Just they weren't good. They weren't good. They really weren't good. And
Could you regroove them?
I was going to get maybe
I'm taking the piss, like.
No, the plan was I was thinking of getting actually like a set of, well, now Toll has a set of remolds up in that shed, you see, super single remolds. So worst comes to worst, I was just going to say, hey Toll, throw me that and I'll square you up whatever you need. So I wasn't bit for tyres. But then JB Tires had got in touch previously. As soon as we released that video of me and you up in the yard there, James Barfoot messaged me, he goes, hey, could you call me, I want to chat. And I was like, dead on. He says, what's the tyres like in your tractor? And I went, unfortunately, I goes, they're too good. And he was like, right. And I was like, but if you're happy to sponsor me a set of 540s and 600s, that'll be absolutely great. He just was like, sort of moved on, just went, oh, about the trailer. And I went, oh no, they're actually stoned on. And he went, what do you have? And I goes, they're super singles. And he went, right, leave it with me. He goes, I think I have a good idea for you here. And he goes, come back to me. And I went, alright. So then he goes, send me a video of how your tyres look. I sent him a video after a while and he just went, yeah, no. He's like, I'm going to give you tyres. He was like, I'm thinking of giving you these Agri super singles. They're by a company called AgriLink. I'm pretty sure they're remolded, to be honest. I think they're remolded super singles. But they've been like, basically the sides, they're not like a square edge. There's a bit of a taper. And it's a square edge and super singles that wrecks the ground. So, well, a bit of a taper, it should be a bit nicer in the ground. So JB sorted me out with that. Fair play, like, that was absolutely class. Wednesday night then, went up, went to Grassman, hung about there for ages, done a bit of, no, we didn't do the interview that night, we just chatted shit for ages. Went to Hughes.
We got a bit of Chinese thanks to
That's right,
Ruth.
Ruth gives a bit of Chinese. Gave me most of it, to be fair, because you wouldn't need it.
That sounds good.
And then I went up to Hughes, chatted more shit. You were still lying under the star
Finally
trailer.
lying under the
We
trailer.
were up and it was like Hughes lying on the star trailer. It's like, great, this is a great start. We fixing lights.
No, I'd finished welding the back crib and had them all on, and then I was trying to get the safety guards off the lights, or the protection guards,
You wouldn't know anything about
and they were seized solid.
crib, would you then?
No, nothing. The tiller was ready to go. We just had to put the cribs on it, and Landon's like, "Oh, there's nothing done to the tiller. It's still sitting in the shade with the barley."
Well, we'd found where the cribs were hiding, and I had welded the crib that miraculously was in good shape.
I don't know how that happened. Some rough operator, luckily. Didn't know what he was at.
We'll set up and be in the room with us right now. So then on Thursday night went and left at the tractor, and then James Duffin landed down as well. Before that, Brian Flanagan landed with the banners, and I was like, Brian, I think these banners are a bit big. And Brian was like, Michael, I done this to what you said you wanted it to. And I just went, way on. I definitely didn't tell you this was like 5x3, and Brian brought a message, and it's like, I'm pretty sure these banners should be 5x3, and I just went,
Absolute sight seer. Like.
and I was just like, oh shit.
How big should they be?
4x2.
They were 5x3.
But in the end, look,
It worked out.
it worked out,
It worked out, yeah.
probably better. Maybe.
You're forgetting another thing on Thursday night.
If
What was that?
That wee phone call you made to me.
Aye.
Aye.
Just
You on the other
as
end of
well.
that phone.
if I would have been yourself again, I would have said to him, could you do it in vinyl and put it on the chiller that way?
Aye, but there's a lot of rust bubbles. And
It would have been. It would have took far
Yeah.
longer to put them on.
yeah.
Even
Like,
though-
I mean, a 2-day job just to put the
Like,
banners
all I
on.
have to do now is just go across the top of my trailer with a welder and fill in all the tack bolts.
Fair enough.
But not rash at all. But yeah, the plan was I wanted to have it on the side of the trailer, and then when we realised it was also going by the wheels, it was like, so we got it hung up anyway.
Probably.
Got it hung up anyway. James Duffin came up with a good idea with the ratchet straps. Meanwhile, before even that, I just landed back from work and was heading over to Darren Mullins to go and lift. So Darren gave you his two-way radio.
Yes, and it was essentially for a TM.
Yes. My three radios, Darren's radio and Hugh's radio, all have the same channel 4.
Yeah.
So we'll get on the radios in a bit, but that was the way it worked out. And Darren actually said to me, he goes, what's wrong? And I was like, I am shitting myself. He goes, normally every time you land here, he goes, you're full of life. He goes, I've never seen you like this. And I was like, no, I am probably shitting myself. And sure, then I land back to the house. The next thing all I heard was, and I was like, you fucking cunt. And there's air pushing out the front tire. And I rung at him, like literally braking, going,
Yeah.
Can you please go to my
I've
body?
never heard you on the end of the phone like that to me.
Like now, before I like kill somebody.
I thought I was having a nice wee easy night.
No. And then Oisin Duffy
Yeah.
opened the yard up for you, fair play. So Oisin patched that.
Big run up Bill Mavati, but
Joe landed, and I think, how long do we have you waiting for?
An hour and a half.
was that when we were grassmen?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
Did not do that, I apologize.
I didn't know you were there that long.
Well, somebody didn't read the group chat.
Was that me?
Me.
Oh. Yeah. So
I seen 9 p.m. earlier in the day.
And never double check before you left.
that's probably fair enough.
I was,
Should have been.
parked it up in the top yard. When I started reading through it, I'm like, I'm actually early for a change.
See, the plan was to be early enough because we were all like, we'll try and get an early night.
That was never.
That didn't happen. So then whenever we landed back from Grassman, then it was two-way patrol. So we wired the radio into Joe's Jeep, wired the radio into the Amarok, wired the radio into the TM, pulled the radio. I think we put the radio with Mary maybe in till the Amarok in the end, put the TM radio in, and then the Fate obviously had the radio. What else did we do when you were here, Joe? I can't really remember. It's all a blur.
I don't know.
That may have been it. I think that was it.
Started to pack stuff in, but
You went on back to the workshop to go and lift spares.
I had stuff to do in the garage and lifted spares. Strange got onto the garage at 12 o'clock at night and been on it for nearly an hour.
Looking for. You had fan belts and all that, you had you?
Fan belts for them and a couple of bits of hydraulic.
The one thing we
Buttons.
forgot to bring with us was back end oil.
Yeah.
We brought 2 things in, engine oil, no back end oil. That was stupid for me.
He's got back end oil, didn't he?
I went to
John Deere.
took it to farm machinery and bought a drum of high
Did
guard.
they need back end oil?
No.
I needed a wee
Or
drop.
Ford needed it, yeah.
You said yours didn't.
Mine's leaking. We actually looked at mine, Joe. We think mine's is a bit high.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she was a wee bit high, but
I've actually
But to tip your trailer, you need to maybe run a wee bit high.
Oh,
Ah, so that's probably why
it's
she's.
terrible hydraulic pumps.
Yeah.
Then that's a new
litre or something out there.
maybe 50.
There you go.
Aye. You can get, I think there's a Norwegian company makes an 80 litre one for them, but I just have a, I had a bit, sure, your mate, Matthew Warnock, he put a hydraulic pump on her. You probably were there when he was doing it.
Yes, I put the inside of the cab on, so I'm surprised she didn't fall the bits no way down the road.
Maybe that's it about that. To be fair, it was a fucking, it was a seriously surreal thing to go to Grassman and leave
Drive
with
out
one
with
of
the
the
tractor.
And then, like, to be honest, if I were you, I'd have been shitting myself too. Like, I would have properly.
He was.
Well,
I don't know.
in my old age, I've got very cautious, as
Yeah.
you have all realised now, but it was
That happens though.
more the case of like, I have drove a TM before at McDonald's, which I never.
She's Cork, man. I'm
Oh,
dead.
fair enough. Well, I suppose.
I'm dead.
But
There's not that much of a difference. The only difference is between park command, range command. Is park command, you just keep hitting buttons. Range command, you press a wee button at the back and move up.
yeah, but it was an experience and a half, mate, especially to record with Gareth.
Aye.
You and Gareth, to be fair, would be fairly similar. And then whenever you recorded with Gareth, it was like fucking.
Who can get a word in edgeways first?
Yes,
Yeah.
essentially. And your hands were flying north, more than north. He was like, lad, I'll stay back.
I think I was a part. I think there must be Italian heritage in my family at some point. Right? So, but
And while Stu's were at Grassman, Dylan and I were trying to change wheels on the trailer.
that's right. You were talking about doing the wheel bearings.
I was for tightening the wheel bearing because there's one I thought was a bit loose, but when I pulled the drum off, it was just something else was
Yeah, I just hope
the
for the
issue.
best. Not gonna lie, I just hope for the best with the trailer. I was like, it's got new tyres, it'll be alright. It drove home from Newton Ards and it has done a couple of days of silage. It'll be alright for 300 miles. It'll be fine. No bother. Sure, all sorts they can have them with a bad wheel bearing on trailer.
We didn't have a bad bad wheel bearing in Fairway.
So,
Thankfully, mechanically, we were remarkably behaved the whole way down.
Yeah, we can actually say that now that it's over.
yeah.
Because
Yeah.
the whole time we're like, don't say anything. Just don't say anything.
Well, we all landed.
Suspicious.
So we all landed in the yard here then, and you and Brown had then messaged me saying, "Oh, what time are you leaving at?" And I was like, probably land the yard about 4:10 to be honest, and aim to go at 4:30." And he was like, "Alright, dead on." And Ewan was there, and I was like, "What else, crack?" He goes, "You here to see us away?" He goes, "No, I'm on my way." I was like, "Oh, fair enough." So you and Brown ended up coming down the roadway then as well. So fair play. He's fucking mad, like.
Very much so. To be fair, one thing, and we obviously learned that as the time went on, Joe's flashing lights and his beacon
Yeah.
actually were as
Yeah.
well touched, to be fair.
Why
The
do you think I wanted the bacon for them, right?
I just thought you wanted a vegan.
No, I
No,
yeah, I like bacon, but like,
Yeah.
it would have been handy.
I
Like.
just, it was one of them things that just didn't get around to doing. I was just like,
Sorry, I'm just disappointed.
when someone was asking me the other day about it, and I said, when we got our heads screwed on and started making the convoy work properly, Joe's Jeep at the front, you at the back, and then Adam fit to script and get pictures and then go out and round us and work media, worked very well.
halfway down the country right enough on the Monday to figure that out.
But at the same time, on the Thursday, the time I would sort it out, it was
Sure,
1 o'clock in
two.
the morning.
Two.
And
Or
then
we closed the bottom shed door to 2:45.
we got, obviously, me and Adam stayed at yours.
Yeah.
And you were like, right, who's getting a spare bed and all that crack? And I was like, fucking sofa, whatever will do me. Then, Midlands? No.
Prue.
Prue was in the sofa, and you were like, do you mind sleep with the guy? I was like, remove the cat.
I said, you might sleep with Adam.
And then you were like,
I
no.
can't
And I was like, remove the cat.
She was not happy.
And I was like,
Fuck, she was cross.
I was like, fucking cat. Then you put her in the kitchen, then the thing was not out, I was like, happy with the place. It was a fucking burn.
I didn't sleep.
Yeah.
No.
Oh, it was just like,
No.
and then you came in the door.
No, I didn't sleep. I was terrified.
I
I
don't
was
think
like,
you slept once that weekend.
I was lying staring at the ceiling, just being like, and I goes to the back, I was like, you sleeping? She goes, was. I went, alright. Good chat. Landed down here, then as we say, and everybody was here. And
It was
I
very fucking surreal at that point.
really surreal. Did I, like, what did I the rest of you sort of think? You had landed just because you drove from Hugh's house then, you were actually supposed to come down the night before and then realised not bad.
I thought it'd be a better idea instead of wasting an hour, just have an extra hour sleep, or an extra hour of trying to sleep and not sleeping, but still. But no, I just landed in the yard and wasn't really thinking about anything. It just, anybody there just hello, and then tried to hide for a while until I woke up.
My cousin had landed and like everybody was standing, and then we still threw the diesel into the back of the Amarok and shorted out a couple more bits of pieces because I was like, I can't be fuck doing this. This was on Thursday. I can't be fuck doing this now. This will wake us up in the morning if we do this. And then I was stressing out, going, no, we're too tired. What if we forget to lift something? And there is back end oil lying down in my bottom shed, I think, actually. And, yep, good man, Michael. But yeah, so then got the Amarok packed up, you had your Jeep packed up, or you had the Hilux packed up as well. You brought a compressor, and then I brought a generator. So, to be fair,
And I forgot my ball jack.
and you forgot the 21 jack, which resulted in an emergency run with Caroline and a 306D turbo back to nearly a giveaway to come back to Cookstown to give us a bottle jack, which ended up never being used. See, if you hadn't have done that, Caroline,
Would have needed it.
we would have needed it.
Oh, I was. That was probably the most nervous I was leaving. Was I was like, "Where's my ball jack?" Oh no.
It's a game of odds and all. It's one of them things where, because we were talking about this, it's like if you're at the stage where something breaks and you have to split the tractor to side of the road, like that is not anybody's fault, you know,
No.
unless you forgot to fill our oil, in which case it is. But we checked everything for that anyway. But like, if you have a puncture, or because you bought a puncture repair kit, didn't you?
I brought. Well, I used to, when I was at Maze, I used to have a plug kit in my tractor. That just belonged to the contractor. Everybody had one, and I seen how useful it was there. I know we all had good tires, but my thoughts was if we have
Sure, you could.
that they're looking at us,
You're going
it
on
could
hard
even.
shoulder all the time.
That's the other thing I'm going to say. I could even have done Amarok or Joe's Jeep
Yes.
to get us 20 miles to a tire service.
And you had a compressor there too as well.
And had the wee small compressor too, and I had that foam.
Okay,
tire foam.
or the
I
tire
have
foam.
OKO right enough in our brought west, which was should have actually brought the OKO because the two bottles lying up in the shed there. Also two fire extinguishers in the back of the Amarok. Did you? Yeah.
Oh really?
No, they might have been a bit of a box to get out.
I never even noticed
But
that.
yeah,
Very
no,
there.
two fire extinguishers in the back of the
I never
Amarok.
realised that.
I never noticed
What was
that.
it halfway down the road? Joe and I were like, do we even have a fire extinguisher with us? Like, we have two tractors that unfortunately are known for electrical issues.
Which ones are they?
Fort and the TM.
Well, in the Fiat as well, because they don't have good electrics either.
I know, but the Fort and TMs are notorious for cab fires.
And onto the cab.
And on the cab,
Ford's
there's
on there.
Conor
a
now looks terrified.
there's a trunk and lies under the floor
That's right.
that runs from one side of the cab to the other with the main loom to the gearbox processor under the mudguard.
It's just you think the amount of boys in back in the day that had TMs and FX375 harvesters. It's just a fire under the dry grass. Like,
Completely.
what happened is entire fleet went up in flames. What do they have? An FX450 and a TM140. I'd explain that.
Yeah, no, the only reason that I actually thought about it was my friend who unfortunately lost his 7840 to fire text us good luck, and that was what.
You went, oh shit.
Flash before your eyes.
I think Joe thought I was beside myself at that point for 5 minutes.
What did anybody, so,
Like, see, on the Thursday, no, on the Friday morning, whenever before we left, I just went up into that cab and left it comfortable with myself. You know, phone holder up, made sure that the charger and all was there, power bank was lying in the side shelf, just drinks and all that, carry on, you know, just so that you could do all that stuff.
what was anybody actually thinking when we drove out the end of the lane?
I need to get this on video.
Ah, okay, fair enough.
That was my entire weekend.
Yeah, you don't
Yeah, you done
You
very
done really
well.
well. It would have been great, and this was brought up throughout the weekend, and I think nobody can really argue this point. Like, it would have been great if we had had cameras and more of these mics, and we could have all spoke to each other and recorded a bit of that. The problem is we would have had the cameras running for a lifetime.
Nah.
As I said to Conor, my father's a grassman, like, it would be forced crack.
Yeah. There would be an element of that, like.
Always I notice there's nearly forced crack sometimes when you see interviews.
Oh god, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, like, I can mind driving down towards Balahi, and just for that, so shit and giggles of it, went down here, my back door closed, and all I heard was, I think for the time your back door will be closed.
I think that just set the tone for the rest of the
And then I was like,
Very
very good, very
We weren't
good.
even in Balaki. I was screaming past you. I was like, I'm coming past to go get a video. And then you were just, what? Oh, there's my pickup. I was like,
Got to Marfeld and just, Michael, yes. Did you own a white Altezza?
Or no, there was a corner, I think, that were like, don't be a savage corner to drift. And then Dylan from nice to get the fucking two-way quick enough, I went, yeah, hi for an Altezza. And then somebody else went, hey, a white one would look right after.
Hey, them two-way videos.
They made it
We'd
fucking
lost
wrong.
it.
We would have been lost without them, and there was some not right with yours.
Aye.
I think you weren't pressing in the microphone.
no, I was.
I see.
I don't know what was happening.
Because whenever my mum was testing it, I noticed she was speaking and it wasn't working, and I was
Aye.
like, Mum, you have to squeeze it. Whenever I had them in my hand, I'm literally clenching it.
Oh, I'm
No,
not
that
testing
wasn't
it,
them.
you just press the button.
The amount of times I was telling he's like, here, you boys are like 20 cars behind me.
There was one point where I was sitting on the tractor and I was like, I think this was maybe, so we went Marfeld, Cookstown, Dungannon, got out of the north basically with barely any traffic,
It was early, that's what.
got to Silverstream outside Middletown.
Hospitality was great there.
We went in
Yeah.
there, I was like, I need a fry. I really need a fry. And then I was
Thanks
talking
for
to the
getting
film
in there,
station, I
thanks,
went, there's no fucking hot
Now you get ice cream in there?
You got ice cream there?
No, I didn't.
Well, you could
You
have.
could have.
You
Well,
could
to be fair though,
You eat all behind the counter, paid for all of our drinks, fair play there.
and for all that she would get wages wise, like she did not. She was
that,
like I was telling
that's
her
2 hours wages easily
Yeah.
gone.
Like I goes to her genuinely catch shell on for people who need to do this.
Did she buy you a 4-pack of Red Bull?
Are you sure? Whatever change I had, I threw it down. I just, there's no way that's too much.
I only got a bottle of water.
I got one can.
Whereas I was like, I'm the biggest to the Red Bull. Then she was like, don't take this.
But like, to do that, but like, that was the set and the scene for the entire weekend.
Yeah.
So then, you were mad keen for a fry, headed out to Clonus.
Well, that's what I eat every morning, mostly. That's wild bad sounding.
How have you lost weight? Jealous.
I got a fry in the morning, I'll do me dinner.
Okay, fair enough.
You know,
Then,
roughly.
I think, to be honest, that stretch between Monaghan and Clonus, I think we did back up the entire county of Monaghan for that half hour.
I had to be alright.
Fuck 'em.
There was that fucking main road.
Yeah,
And there wasn't a lay-by or nothing.
This is the problem.
And we were even stuck behind a fucking tractor. And then we played Guess the New Home.
That was a 7, was it 7-8-40?
7-8-40.
Like,
New
I think it's a
Holland.
40.
I think it's a 2M.
I think it's a 60.
It's definitely a
Is that the one I had
7.
tomorrow?
And then I was like, why is this boy going so slow? And then I was saying about the experience of driving the 30k at 8340 that time. I was like, I didn't even know it existed. But, well, yeah, so like, between Monaghan and Cavan, or between Monaghan and Clonus, there wasn't a single lay-by to fall on.
No.
Anywhere.
Like, sure, you, whenever we came up that time, I was like, oh my fucking god. I actually have to let off the accelerator. Wow.
I did say these, put it in the stones, in the grass.
Once we got by,
There was the only thing I say about pulling onto grass is, in places we were nervous pulling onto the grass because you could have sunk in very handy.
that was the fear. Like so that whole new road between Cavan. So obviously we done the Cavan bypass. Met the Dippers.
Aye.
That's right, aye.
That
That was squeaky bum time.
Clenched. I was like, just look forward, just look forward.
I think it was the beacons on Joe's Jeep.
I said
But then
that
I was
the
way
other
behind
day.
you.
It was literally, it was, because you were like, I think literally it was for the Jeep, and I was like, you're absolutely right. They would have seen that. Then they would have seen the banners on the side, just went, alright,
This looks legit.
this looks legitimate.
To be fair, they didn't look like the kickers.
They looked at us and gave us a good hard look, and then they seen the banner, and then they just sort of, at that point, the wave went from to.
Because it looked like she was getting ready to stop me, and I was sitting on the radio going, hey, she's got the hand up here, I think we're getting stopped. And then, as we get closer and closer, then she stood out in the middle of the road, and I was like, But I was sitting thinking, right, I'm insured, I've even got a receipt for green diesel. If they're going to try and claim smuggling because we've got red diesel on the tractor, I'm going to turn around and tell them they're a heartless bastard and this is for charity and they're all going to suffer as a result, blah blah blah. And I was starting to get wound up, and then the next thing just went, and I was like, whew.
For all you knew, shaking was thinking, I wonder will have stolen a lot of power.
Absolutely not.
Well,
Customs scumbags fell in.
hope they're not listening to us. And I'm just earmarking a 7840, a TM 140, and a 11090 for next time they see him down.
Well, to be fair, the
the
TM's lorried everywhere, so it doesn't matter.
The Amarok definitely doesn't have any red diesel on the back of it.
No, not at
No.
all.
Definitely
No.
wasn't leaking down the back of
See, it
it.
was in green jars.
Aye.
Exactly.
Aye, that would have been nice to explain.
Well, at least they got the jar
Well, the car in
covered.
front of me got pulled down, and I was like,
Did it?
aye.
Oh,
I got
fuck.
flagged down, and I went, oh,
Oh, you must have been behind.
I was a couple cars behind you.
Oh,
Because the
no
car in front
wonder
of me
you
got
were
flagged
fucking
then, and I went,
texting
oh,
me.
they're not going to flag two in a row, so that then she just kind of was like,
But
she
they're obviously in the northern plates and just
wasn't
went.
even really looking. I was just
No,
like,
there was
"Ah,
vehicles with on the plates pulled, didn't there?
Was there?
Was it?
Uh-huh.
No, I didn't see that.
I would say two of maybe six pulled in were normal.
There had a lot pulled in.
Yeah, I
There was probably, I think there was 4 or 6 on either side of the road, would you say?
And I just remember seeing all the wee balls, and I was just like,
I think we were all, because
yeah.
especially you and I, Michael, with our names in the documents for the tractors.
I wasn't too worried, to be honest. Not my tractor.
You could have just got out and walked away.
It's nice to know that even down there, they also rub cash machines too.
There was a film section then down the road. There was a full yard of diggers.
These boys just went through the door. That seems to be the new way of doing it. Instead of ripping the wall out.
Bush came through. But that bit of, from we come down from Cavan then, heading towards Athlone, that part of the N55, they built this brand new, fantastic road with all these storm drains. Not one fucking lay-by. For how many kilometres?
2 minutes.
Well, it had been 20 kilometres.
And then we were
playing spot the layback.
Yeah. Honestly, it got to the stage.
I don't think
There was a couple of bits where I was like, we could have
Yeah.
went over the drains and pulled onto the grass. But I was like, I don't want to, I don't know if that's a bike. Oh, is there anything here? I know tractors are meant to go on grass, but
Aye, but when you don't know where you're going.
when we didn't know where we were going, I
Was
was
that
like,
when you got caught a wanker?
yes. And may or may not have talked about that.
You did, that seemed to have affected you.
I was really, really angry. We finally got pulled in at a lay-by, and honestly, there was a rate. That was the only time I would say that we properly held people up. I know I joke about holding up the County Monaghan, but that was the only time that genuinely.
There's literally nothing we could have done about it.
No.
Like,
Who builds a road and doesn't do a single lay-by? Like,
also that bit of road should have been a duck hard. It was wide enough.
oh, aye.
Because it was nearly a carriageway and a half wide on either side.
Exactly. But there was no.
Could
There
have
was
done like the
no.
Marfell bypass, where there's overtaken parts. and all
But it
that.
wasn't even. They didn't even give us a hard shoulder.
No.
It was just grass. Like, it was.
There's only a bit about like.
But it was. I was just like, who designs a road like this? Like, but even if you were stuck behind someone, say an L driver or an R driver, I know they don't have that in the south, but
Yeah,
or an old person in America, which seems to be the trend these days, doing
Body in the Benz.
32 miles an hour.
Oh my god.
Like, what do you do? You're stuck in a big long queue and there's just this
Or
person.
Michael replies, I cut in the cab.
Oh, I heard that from Beck all weekend.
You're not but a cunt in the
Got
cab.
the car.
But, like, how do you... Like, what would you do in a normal circumstance there? You'd be ready. Except, nothing as a tractor can't go any faster than 22 miles an hour.
Well, see them learners down south. I can't remember where I was heading to get a video of you. But a learner went past you and I went after him thinking, oh, I'll have to overtake this learner. That learner was gone.
I know,
Even I was like, what the
as soon as they pass their test, they can do normal.
It was an L plate. I was like, what speed are you fucking
In
doing?
the south, I think L plates can do...
They don't have that.
They should have. It's 45 miles an hour.
He was
No,
gone.
no,
You can be unaccompanied.
I
You'd be
think
an unaccompanied learner.
I think if they are accompanied, they can do the. Because obviously,
If they're
motorway is part of the southern test, where it's not part of ours.
Ah.
Technically, we're not actually trained to
I've,
go on the motorway.
I've never seen a learner go fast.
Not one point are we ever trained to go on the motorway and your theory test is all just nearly, what's this blue sign? I'm like, jeez, I wouldn't fucking know, I've never seen one in my life. I think I was in the motorway maybe twice in my life before I done my driving test. Like, what, round here would you have the other go to Mark Filter
I was
Ball?
about to say your man never took it in the motorway before.
I don't think my man's driven on the motorway before.
Fuck.
No, it was just a couple of times. Like, if my mum was going to see my uncle in Belfast, she went out like by Nuts Corner and done the road and down the Black
Oh,
Mountain
yes.
and all.
Oh, well, fair enough. Yeah.
Like, she never would go near the motorway. Like, that's just.
So we got then as far as was it Granard? Then was then roughly that.
Yeah, Granard, so kind of pulled in there for a bit of a nostalgia kick, to be quite honest.
I did wonder why we stopped there.
I knew there was the big cattle market and a good place to pull in.
And the smell of the bakery up the road.
I thought there was something wrong with the TM.
Did you call me out at that stage?
I was
Like
like,
my
this,
TM.
this smells funny. Does anybody else smell something funny? Yeah, yeah. Right.
Sorry, I cheered you up. I've been called a wanker. They're playing Smoking the Bandit.
I actually thought it was you playing.
At least my radio worked up then.
How convenient.
Sorry, can I just say, Conor and Michael, don't lean your head back any further than you already are. Because when you're sitting up fine, you're fine. As soon as you lean your head back, you're like, just getting on there and going up training. Sorry.
This is the director's cut. I might just keep this in.
Flipper right.
No, that's only the back for TikTok.
You're not in charge for once. What the fuck?
If we honestly watching me, because I'm like,
Yeah, you been doing this.
All I did.
I'm like, are you trying to say something?
Oh,
It's like really itching at you, like, fucking move forward.
Can you still see Adam if I sit like that?
Oh, you're
oh yeah, you're fine. Like,
Come on, you jump forward.
Otherwise, it's
You're
gonna
doing
be weird if you cut it out and now it's just you. It's gonna be like.
No, I'm not cutting anything out. It's not this time.
All I can imagine is
They were people that we choppy boards.
Cut.
Where were we?
Granard.
should I go a bit more? You know, like
What way is?
That's better now.
So then, Granard, we left Granard, and that was then, we started heading down through the country, sort of towards Edgeworthstown,
that's a wide turn round. You know.
and then heading towards Athlone. Sort of as we got to Athlone, I thought the roads would open up a wee bit more.
They didn't.
That first day, the roads were not fun.
I think the best bit of road for overtaking was back when we were going through the boglands. Them big long straight bog roads.
The best road for overtaking was the old Cork road.
Oh.
We'll get to that.
We got spoiled in that second day.
That was class.
They do. But
No, you
I was like, is this called the 14-mile straight or 14-kilometre straight?
there was so many straight roads, because we were saying this in like on the Midlands, it's like there's so many straight roads, but there's so many like hidden dips.
Yeah.
So you couldn't overtake. Like, it's grand for us in the tractor, because
Like,
we can see.
allegedly, you go there, you know, in the middle of the night, and allegedly make use.
There's a couple of wee bits just outside between sort of Fermanagh and Monaghan. That,
That's
just where the border sort of doesn't really know where it's at, and every single fucking crossroads and bit of road was just black.
Yeah, there's some dodgy dipping marks I saw on corners and stuff down there. I was like, what's going on there?
even main roads.
Aye, on corners. Good
No,
one.
main road doesn't just in the middle of the main
Oh,
road.
I saw one on a corner. I was like, why are you definitely there? Oh, all the places.
Maybe they want to do a big slide and
Well,
Lost it.
lost it. And a white
Just-
outfit.
that's it. fine. But, and there was a point in time,
To be fair, the bog road, actually the real straight one, was very cool to drive into. Deadly road, basically resurfaced.
yeah,
And it was like a southern 7 mile straight that just
It was actually really fascinating, you know, when we were going through some of that, and you seen some of the old bog machinery just abandoned.
that's actually what I was saying. Like, by doing the route we did, if we had just had a fleet of T7 210s or something like that, and could have done 50k and got to Drumore and just done the M1, it wouldn't have been the same.
Well, there's even, again, Dylan was just like, never in my day did I think I would see bog and in the distance a barley field.
Oh, it's amazing like how different all the
see
things
that
and stuff
here.
is. Like,
Robert Sibbett has barley over there on the field before it's all bogland.
but it's usually not a good sign if you see that. But down there, like the barley actually look rightly, and then it's just like a massive bog in front of it.
It's just the Midlands, like. But I would say they have to probably cut that at the right time, or they're fucked. Like,
Could be deadly ground, that's just rain.
Is that what the wind turbines are? Is that where we're at?
The really straight road with the bog
Ah, it was
out.
like wind turbine farm, like.
I cannot remember.
I think so.
was that after we come out of Clapham?
I have no idea.
It was. Do you remember when we pulled in the Borden? This is where the Borden and Mona entrance was. You know, the massive big entrance. We pulled all the tractors in.
Yeah.
Is that where all the
It's
around
that-
60s and all used to be?
That you see that entrance we were at. Did you not see the Wilson's auction sign this way on the gate?
Yes.
That's where they sell them from. Is in there,
Oh,
or one of the places they sell them from.
I can mind seeing all the 60s and 40s and then like that, you know, decent herb one. And then everybody just said, do not look for a bog tractor.
Their tractors literally from the day in second it started. Full throttle.
No, not hard to drive at all. That's
I
what
thought they
did.
were, because of the cutters, I thought they were full bore all the time. Same as right here.
A lot of that's more speed than actual engine RPM at times. You can do 1200 RPM and
Like,
set, you know, in a high gear.
Not well worn at all.
But
I thought it'd be the other way about. I thought
I-
it'd be just not looked after.
I was always told the reason you don't go for them is the peat dust gets in behind everything and rocks it from basically the inside out.
Well, you wouldn't need much of that with a Fate. They're really one step ahead.
Well, the time we were at Greenmount with an 8360 and she'd come out of something like that and you just opened the panels and there was just, the insides of the panels were just caked solid and crud.
Yikes.
Not nice.
No, not when you're lying under it and it's just showering you.
Was it at the end of it we got the bear?
Yeah, we went through the Midlands, and to be fair, it was an experience. Like, you've seen a lot of stuff. There was no point, like, we couldn't have done the motorway. We'd been too tired, you'd been falling asleep. Like, you were that much looking around you, and like going through all even smaller towns and being like, oh jeez, I look at that. Like, you'd been going by a man's yard, and there'd have been like a house, and then like a Zetter, and then a McCormick with like a Tedder or something in the back, and you'd just be like, alright, that's a setup. And then you'd go by another yard, and it's just like
The big X just sitting in the middle of the back
There
garden.
was one
basically.
about, I think, outside Dungannon, there was just a 6290 lying in the middle of the field with about 1.5 wrap bales.
And they're the same colour as them monster tons sitting over there.
Is this the one you want to look at though?
That wasn't no.
Me and Beck
But
were
it's a shame
saying
to
that.
see it.
Me and Beck were saying that by all the wee towns and villages we went through. You're just like, you just have to come back here. You just
need to
get
set your
never-
watch back
you
about
never.
300 years.
Oh, that was Cashel. Cashel was lovely.
Casual's
Casual,
I know I keep jumping ahead there, but like, Cashel was lovely.
Well, folk asked me what I thought of my trip, and I said, honestly, you don't get to appreciate the country you're in until you're doing 22 mile an hour.
And we were doing right through the Midlands, so it's not like you're driving to Cork the normal way. Like, we went straight down through the country.
Plus,
Yeah.
you were high up and you could see shit.
How many counties do you reckon we did? I never bothered looking out, but
We've done a brave few of them.
we definitely have done a right.
Because even if it was there one point it was 3 counties in like 10 minutes.
We were bouncing on the night.
We were bouncing like
that's
I
Monaghan.
did.
Is it Monaghan from Monaghan?
no on down. There were some where we passed like 3 county signs within no time at all.
Is that the border?
I think that was Tipperary.
Yeah, it would have been. It would have been, yeah. We, Tipperary, Westmeath, I think as well, and maybe Offaly. That's Burr, because Athlone, Westmeath, Burr's Offaly, and you're straight in Tipperary.
Probably is.
So that probably was
There was bits of road I remember. There was loads of welcome to county signs, and it was like you could have been going forever, and there's no welcome to county, and then you were like, you got two of them in a while, and you were like, oh wow, we're actually making some progress here.
Well, it's weird, like, you know, and I'm just actually, that's just remembered me going back to the very start. I don't know if they'll even hear this, but just remember, like, the people standing in Marfelt.
Yes.
Yes. Only standing with the signs. Like, I was just saying, like, I was going to say, like, even people, like, along them roads and all, like, pulling up and waving and stuff. And we seen a lot of that on the second day. But one thing I remember is
was it the 200 driving by and him teabagging, and I mean it scared the fuck out of me. And then all I hear is, holy fuck!
what went wrong with my tractor? Oh, it's
They just keybanged to the right, and I had just opened the one, and I thought, oh, I blew out a wheel in the tiller or something, and for panic I was like, oh, there's a Lexus, not mine.
But one thing I'd said in the earlier part of the day, you swore it was going to rain. When we were coming, I was in the North Midlands, kind of like towards Athlone. The sky was like really grey for quite a lot of it, and like out through Edgeworthstown and all. Like I was like, shit, this looks like it's going to piss down. And then just whatever happened, as soon as we stopped in, or as soon as we got to Athlone, the weather completely changed, and it was really sunny.
The definitely second half of the first day and the full second day, the weather and the Sunday at the event
Sunday I got born
was lovely.
The other takeaway from the first day was you're on the road like 7 hours, and you're like, it's only like fucking 12 o'clock.
Aye, we got to Granard, and I think at Granard it was like 11:45, and I was like, it must be 3 o'clock when I looked. Oh my god.
Yeah. You and Jack said it's like, it's still not 12.
Like, we have so much ground left to cover.
It's still
Like, Granard's about 100 miles. Granard, I think, actually is like 95 miles.
But even, it's the fact that, like, as I said to you before, whenever you were worrying, like, whenever you're doing a constant speed, it's amazing how much ground you will cover.
Granard, I think, was the bit of the day, once we left Granard, seemed to be the bit of the day to me that dragged.
Oh, yes.
Completely
But we
agree.
stopped. We had to stop a lot on the first day to let people pass. That slowed us down too.
Yeah.
Compared to the second day, they meant we had to
Dude,
stop.
I would say we spent an hour at the side of the road easily. The first day.
Easily.
Aye, and that's not including the official stops. That's just letting traffic by was an hour.
But in my head, I'm like, the journey finished at Athlone. Because even after Athlone, like we hit Athlone, I think, around like 2 o'clock or something. Sure, we were driving still to 7:30. But because the weather was so good, like, and the roads got better again, to me, it stopped dragging, and that whole period of time feels so much less compared to that 2 hours just of going through the Midlands. So we stopped at that place called Clockin or something, didn't we?
Was that what, like, the service station?
Aye.
I tell you, fucking chappie never tasted as good.
Aye, that was a welcome fee. That was around 4 o'clock or something.
I'm sorry, I don't know.
I wanted to do stuff that's not great.
What do you mean? Oh Jesus, I love they're so fucking intense.
I think that was another bit I thought was starting to drag was that was whenever we were starting to look for food
Yeah.
and
Everyone was really focused.
we were
We were getting ratty each other.
We were.
I had really a snack off. I was dug in rye.
You are a hungry boy.
Oh, I hear.
but no, like that was a bit one, you know, there was bits of the day, but definitely from Granard to when we stopped for dinner, there was bits flew by, and in that last 20 minutes, I think, sure, Joe and I were nearly for jumping out every hole in the hedge for just to get out of the Jeep.
Sure, we done, after we left Cahan, we then went out through the wee town, took a left. I think we're still on the N62 main road. That's maybe where the big long straight road was. And then when we got to the end of that, I think where you're on about the board in Mona, that's where we were at. We got to the end of that road, took a right, and we were on a main road. I think it was the main road then, maybe over to Burr. And do you remember the Land Cruiser?
Yeah.
That was just after. That was.
Come to stop goes.
So actually,
yeah.
we're all on the same. That's where I'm thinking of the
I
same.
still
Yeah.
don't know what that was all about.
So we were sitting, I was like, right, well, pull in. We weren't even on, we'd been on the carriage by 3k at this point.
We were on 10 to 15 minutes maximum.
I will say
Even.
the queue behind us was bad, but there was nowhere up until that house.
We got up and we just pulled in front of this person's house and the queue came on. This thing, I seen the blue flashing lights on like a 17 plate Land Cruiser. And I was
Commercial
like,
edition, wasn't it?
Commercial Land Cruiser,
commercial.
and they weren't in the grill. They were just stuck top and back.
And the back, it looked like they were just hanging down.
Yeah, they were because they were.
Yeah, they looked like they were just hanging lights. Aye.
That was sketchy. Like you said, he was wearing work trousers and stuff. Like, well,
Yeah,
he
it was.
he was
It was in a polo and work trousers, and he just slowed up and mouthed off abuse and said, "Oh, what on earth are you doing this for?
Should've pulled in
You should have
sooner."
been pulling on sooner." And
3 kilometres.
and there's like 5 kilometres of traffic behind you and all
Do
this.
you not know the rules of the road?
And they tore off.
I took that before I got a chance to
Before
Aye,
he
didn't he,
even
like,
say
well,
something, he'd actually put the window up and tore off as quick as he physically could.
You then got on the radio and I was like, did he tell you to follow us or anything? And you were like, no, he just gave me a mouthful of abuse.
He just wanted to give us abuse.
and pulled off. And I was like, fucking prick.
And then sure, when we spoke to Kieran that night, he reckons it was just some chancer that had blue strobes stuck in his Jeep.
Just wanted to be an absolute
Because
knob.
if they were annoyed, they would have called in and had a proper word with us.
If it was
Tearing off, like,
if it was somebody official, they would have said, "Look, boys, we know you're under doing this for charity, but can you please make every chance to pull in?"
To be fair, we would have said that. We'd have been here. Look,
The-
see every clear run we get, we're pulling them.
The thing was, there was no manners with him.
No.
no, he just wanted to give us
The nearly everybody else that said anything, there was manners with them. Well, that Joe and I experienced. That
Well, there was a boy who drove past us on that new bit of road where the horn. As the whole way past. My road race kind of came out then. But
Yeah, screamed a couple of
might have said a couple words. I think Becca looked at me like, what the fuck? I think something like that out there.
We once we got the burr then, and then that's whenever I don't think Gareth will mind that's been brought up, to be quite honest. We got the burr and you just goes, hey, I have a light in the dash here.
It was one of those things where I just noticed it and I went, that's definitely not been on that long. And I noticed going up the hill, clutch and cycle, there was a bit more of a jolt wear.
Yeah.
Now, I found in homes like Dubai.
Oh, aye, especially between B6 and C1.
No, just like Dubai when you're taking them off, it's like, they're like
Ah,
to
yes.
tell you that they're sort of, you're engaging the clutch Dubai.
It's character.
Yes, that's correct. But if we're doing it, I thought, this doesn't seem right. And then seeing the light on one straight away, right, use no more about, what I do. As soon as you pull in, just to look at it.
They know more about you.
Yes, well, you're in my general direction to look at. You know more than I do.
no, you shout over the two-way. I think we need to call in here. And luckily, when you shouted, we got probably the best place to test at solenoid 4-wheel drive and everything without holding up traffic. And we had them two roundabouts, what was it, half a kilometre, 3/4 a kilometre. We were fit to run her up and down the road twice to make sure.
The run was meant to go smoothly. Regardless, you had an issue, you were beside someone on the.
Well, it was literally like, I think 19 miles spanner over to the back, here you go, and then Sam Cole. To be honest, I do think Sam Cole probably was sitting, like Sam Cole's a big supporter anyway of Grassmen and us.
Oh,
Sam Cole was supposed to land down for us.
just
on
the spanner check.
It was meant to come down to both me and then on to here.
And he couldn't get away, but he was supposed to come down. He wanted to come down just to check. I would have said, truthfully, and if I asked Samus, he'd probably agree, he was probably sitting half waiting on us. Like he would have he was praying.
The first thing he said to me when we were at the BRM pull and we were chatting about it, he first said, "Oh no, I'm going to have to put the phone silent all weekend." And then the next sentence out of that was, "You do know if you need anything, give me a shout."
And there's no better man, like.
And like, he was he getting his hair cut or going to get his hair cut or something when it happened, and he was like, right, I'm on the hands free. He got me talking through it, and then I was like, right, I need to go on here. If you go and test this, test that, and then give me either ring me back or send me a WhatsApp. And then the next thing, pardon me, he wanted me to send him a picture where the pressure switch was, and he was making sure I was testing right solenoids, etc. And I was like, yeah, everything seems to be behaving here. And I was like, disconnect the pressure switch that connects into the def lock, and as soon as that was off, then she started behaving again, and that was
the only.
how on earth we done. Well, for Donald and I, 330 miles nearly used 300. How on earth we done that with a pressure switch failure?
And New Hollands as well.
In New Holland that has
Just
a history of gearbox issues, a TM that has
not been driven.
In anger or seen any hard work
5
in
3 years at least, anyway.
3 years that she's not done anything.
And Craig Moss was the last man on her, so.
And
Was I?
and all she's done in the 3 years is maybe 20 hours of going to grass, and your fate, which is not a frontline tractor on it, it's a hobby farm
And the
tractor.
worst, and the thing about the Fate is, you pair were able to take her somewhat canny. I was full board.
Honestly,
full
if there was
red.
going to be a mechanical issue due to revving and stuff, it was going to be you.
If there was a tractor that should have got warm, or maybe brought up the oil pressure, like, which thankfully it didn't. If there was a tractor that was going to do this, it would have been mine. Especially when it was the Geno I turbo that Fate.
On 3 parts as well.
We're still waiting on the food.
Like,
Well, maybe you could do a summary video now that he's
for like, yes, we came with on Connor's silage, but ultimately,
We were left on deals on Sunday, weren't
I and her not driving out fully, like, that's where we noticed she wasn't going
we? I
right.
never noticed.
And she done a couple of tractor runs. What else really has she done?
Well, she done the tractor. She was literally the turbo went on her, and she done the tractor. She went straight to the Crow's Nest tractor. And that was because literally I got her back from Andy Hamill that day with her been piped, and she wants. I came to the yard here, screwed her half a turn, and took her up to the Crow's Nest. That was it, and then yeah. But like, so the tractor probably, in the grand scheme of things, was introducing extra heat on top of the engine.
And
to the
just
turbo.
extra things to go wrong.
And like, don't get me wrong, my tractor does breathe a wee bit. She does.
Oh, well, mine does too. So.
That's a 40 thing, but my tractor does breathe a bit. And to be honest, there may be a day that she gets a set TL 100 pistons, because they're the same. Well, turbo pistons, TL 100, F130, whatever, they're all the same. If she gets a set TL 100 pistons, then she'll be good to go for 160. But for her being, I suppose, naturally aspirated, there was times like I had the hand throttle up full, and then I was like, no, I don't like sitting at 2700 here. She never gets warm, and she never did get warm, but she kind of sits between, there's the white and there's the green, then there's the red. And the green takes up like 75% of the gauge, but she always sits in the white. But whenever I noticed I just had her, when we come down a hill, or I had her hand throttle fully open, she would just sit nearly in the green. But whenever I was on the foot throttle, or just driving normally in flat roads, she would just sit ever slightly in the white. So she did definitely get a wee bit more heat with the hand throttle up full, so I didn't really like doing that. And then there's a couple of like hills we got to that you just sort of seen her just go.
Did you put any coal in it? No word of a lie, the expansion bottle empty.
No, she's not.
It's nearly empty.
No, there's expansion, there's fluid in the expansion bottle.
Was that the expansion bottle I pointed out to you the other day?
Yes, there's fluid in it now.
Oh, I
No,
see.
it was done. Yeah, it was done. But they don't really need done, because all it is the expansion.
I know, but still.
Because they have a cap on the top of the radiator as well, you see. So,
Jaguar.
yeah, Dale Higgins. But like, so after we done that, the evening then turned into a really nice evening as we started heading towards Tipperary.
Yes, so as soon as the minor thing came up on her, Sam phoned, and must have been the phone with Sam for the guts of an hour. See that guts of an hour? Fucking everyone just flew. I was in complete autopilot. The pulling in and everything.
Wouldn't dock for an hour on the phone, would I?
Definitely not. Definitely not.
Think so, no.
And then within no time we were flipping out these country roads going to Perfect 32.
So that was the next, like, that was like the stage where we got, I was really grateful to have Joan from, like, by that stage, because you were sort of driving on out the road and then flagging people down, and I just sat full bore in the middle of the road.
Was
Like,
Joe? Was it that White McGann or something? Was it that come absolutely hurtling towards us? And that would have been emotional if it hadn't been for the
That
Jeep.
would have been a disaster.
because you were like, slow down, and then the next thing they pulled on, then you just see, I was going to say me going, no, but it's more like, really slowly and loudly just going by. They're just like, why does that boy look like he's been ejected out the cab? And then, so we got over to Perfect 32's yard, and by the time we got to Perfect 32's yard, we had hit 10k. So 10k was the original target for us to meet with the run.
Yeah.
We've probably spent that much time actually talking about the run. We haven't got back to the charity, but the original goal was 10k, and we hit that literally coming into Kieran's yard. I think we were in 10-2.
I think it was 20 minutes before it, and I had seen it with Joe, and I said, well, we leave it till we get to the yard, and then I think it was you, Adam. It was either you or Conor said, do you know we've hit 10k?
Aye.
I was holding that to be sort of the last celebration
I
of the
may
day.
have eventually been using the phone.
No, Beck was.
It's Beck, yes, Beck.
And
Wasn't my
but
phone.
no, I was sort of keeping a wee eye on it, just out of pure curiosity going down the road, because I knew it was just ticking away all day.
I feel bad that I took that from you.
And my thoughts was, and I said to Joe, well, we say now, and Joe was like, no. So you were like, no.
Then there's me. Here.
Yeah. But like, no, we were like, I think that's sort of nearly the high point to end the day on.
But it was when we got and like Kieran done with Perfect 32. Now that had been said before this, I didn't know him. He is a gentleman.
Oh, Kieran's a
Absolute
fantastic
gentleman.
gentleman.
I don't know. He seemed to know. Does he follow the pod? But
After me, he started following, and he actually said he would listen to, you see, he drives a loading shovel too, to the local contractor,
Yeah, he said that.
and
An L110?
yeah, because he said last part of the year or something.
He was
Snapchat
giving
today.
off it. It's like I last the second cut, thank God, or something like that.
No, he was saying like he struggled. Like he used to be. Did you know he had a white Altezza too?
Yes, I did actually.
after we brought him.
You brought it up. They had a picture of it in the
The office.
In the office.
Yeah, but no, he come into the podcast after the Moyer one, which is where a lot of folk I think come into
From the model side of things.
From the model side of it. And he said there's not many podcasts where he can listen to. He might not always listen to all the drafting or all the things, but he'll listen to some of the farming podcasts, some of the things.
Most of the watch news, Conor giving off about his cattle, like, so.
Well, his office workshops in the middle of the dairy farm, like, so he's
Some unit.
all lovely place.
Deadly place. Really deadly place. And really clean. Really
It's come forward since the last time I was there. There was a bit more cracked concrete and stuff, but that's, as every farm, you go through these periods. But no, Kieran was actually saying to me, he was listening to the BR, wasn't the BRM was your last? He said he was listening to that and listening to you two talking about sort of the pre-run podcast.
We actually changed the route, but so our original route was actually supposed to, we got to Athlone, and the original route was actually supposed to go, we actually veered east towards Burr and then down towards Stirlis. The original route was actually supposed to be Nina and then down to Limerick. That was actually our original plan, but that could change because of the going to meet Sean Collins. But
And well, also when we were discussing the route, like you were like, where do we get a secure yard? Somewhere around Tipperary.
So we were standing the Sunday beforehand. We were standing in the yard going, "Where do we go here?" And you were like, "I was like, I'm hoping to get the Thurles because that's 2/3 of the way. That's 200 miles." And you were like, "I think Kieran at perfect 32s there." And I was like, "Right." And you were like, "I'm gonna message him." And he was like, "No boy."
I think he just had to run it by everybody in the yard to let them know. And as soon as he had that, then that was really the green light for all systems go for the route we were going.
He threw us money too, like, and he had no need to do that.
Well, I was getting parts. It was, and they said, "Sure, you pay the bill into the charity instead."
He gave more because I know you said about that, but he actually loaded up onto the page as well. He
Just Given
posted
page.
more onto the Just Given.
Oh no, that was my bill.
Oh. Okay.
That was my bill.
Well, the fact he gave you parts for charity, like, and then, like, we were seriously appreciative. But like, we got the Kieran's, we left, and we were glad we had all the vehicles with us as well, because even with you and Landon too, like, we actually had enough space because Zamarok was basically the luggage wagon.
It was
plus
so
all the
brim.
tools.
It was to the brim.
I think the back seats was basically, that was a crew cab, like.
Yeah.
Or not a crew cab, it was a double. It was just like a standard
Single cab.
single cab, like, because all the luggage in the back. And then Gemma met us at Kieran's, did she?
No. So,
Oh no, Gemma came to the house, didn't she?
Yeah.
myself. Who was supposed to say? Well, I went to Ewan's car anyway.
Oh,
so-
Super.
Me, Adam, and you, and went to Ewan's car. Very surreal feeling to see your logo on somebody's sunstrip.
Yeah. That isn't ours.
I give it
Yes.
to him at the Adrian's tractor run.
Oh, right.
The fort run.
I gave it to him because they were the boys that was out with the banner hanging off the
Oh,
freeway.
aye.
He was one of them. That's where the whole thing.
So,
There's 3 lads, so that's where I get.
and then I'm sure we all went stop and centre and just got supplies and then got to the.
I think the original plan when we got back to the house, I was thinking, sure, we'll take an early night. But hey, we sat and chatted shit.
I took myself to bed.
You took yourself to bed. I think in the end, though, it was me, Dylan, Joe, and Hugh. And then I went, right here, look, I'm
Well, Gemma looked at me and went, "You need pearls. You really need a pearl." Sure, right?
Adam was just like, yeah, I'm away.
I know when to call it quits for myself. I'm
And
like,
then not long after, you think you and them went, here, I think I'm going to call it quits too. And then we just kept chatting, like.
Yeah, I think it was when we got to the point of the discussing different pistons, we were all like, I think we were at the point of bed.
I was just like, yeah, I think we probably should go to bed at this point. So like, went up. That was an alright sleep. That was a rewarding sleep because I was like,
oh, you actually slept that night?
yeah.
Jeez.
Good. That night I actually got a wee bit of sleep. And then next morning it was like, sure, we'll all be up at 7. And
Well, I woke at 6. I'm at it.
Aye, 7. I had the alarm set for 7 and I was adamant I was not getting out of that bed at 7. 6 o'clock and the 2 of them got up. I was like, oh, fuck, 7. But I lay in bed at 7.
I'm a procrastinator in the morning. That's why I get up so early. 'Cause I end up sitting on the edge of the bed like 20 minutes on TikTok and go, oh, I'm getting ready.
see, I'm one of those people. I'm like, I should have been getting up 5 minutes ago. Fuck it. that's kind of my style of, and then it's brushing teeth while you're running down the stairs for a joke. But like, to be fair, the agreement was we'll get to Kieran's for 8:30 and we'll get on the road. We were at Kieran's for 8:30,
No, we weren't.
give or take.
Half an hour.
5 minutes. You know, like,
Oh, it was a half 9 before we got there.
No, we left the house at 8:30. We left.
We were the stragglers, but that's because we had to wait for TFM, the John Deere dealership, to open for that drama back
It
end
sort of
of it.
worked out. We ended up spending a bit of time. We left the house at 8:30 and then we spent a wee bit of time in the town. Truthfully, I think we got the Kieran's at 9:10 or something like that there.
It was 9:30 we got with the time I
Yeah,
had
but
to
you
do
were-
it.
There was a man drove into the yard. I don't know who he was. Well, we've been on the phone to the family and that to like give them an update. And a fella drove into the yard this morning.
That's right.
I can't.
It was one of Kieran's neighbours.
Oh, was it?
The boy in the red Kia.
Yes, I know
it
the
was,
sort of
it
fella.
was one of Kieran's neighbours or something that heard the talk in the pub or something that there was a crowd of madmen doing the wrong.
My auntie's friend landed on the Friday night, or the Friday night as well, in the Kieran's place, because she lives in Tipperary. She landed and they gave us money too.
And then sure we had Kieran's dad and everything was out to see us off.
So and then to be honest, because we were in Kieran's place, like, as like this man obviously takes a lot of pride in what he does, and you were like, Michael, oh, can we have a look round here? You should look at this. And I was like, look, and I said to Kieran, I goes, I'm going to give you time in the morning when I am in a fit state to give you time. So then obviously here's the big fate wall, so I was like, that's deadly. And then like walking through and just seeing all the stuff, he has like all the brass cutouts and all for making the hedge cutters.
Yeah.
And like he's charging 335 or 350 euro.
350 euro with a hedge cutter.
Cutters, right? And whenever you actually look at it, that man's not making a fortune.
Serious detail.
Like the hours spent doing that.
He'll tell you the small stuff pays better than the big stuff, but the small stuff allows him to do some. As a bit like myself, some of the big projects are you cover your cost and you don't always make a lot out of it. Whereas your small stuff that you're fit to churn out is where the money really, I find anyway, the money is with that stuff.
Like how small scale and like there's some patients and that. Like.
Oh, why? Like I was just look. I said that as a Kieran, if I was doing this, I was like, this will all be over the floor. Like
You would lose that.
Oh, I have absolute butter hands. Like everything I lift comes clean out through them. Like I am.
Don't be holding any wings.
Like I think it's probably what happened to me as a wee, to be quite honest. But like,
wow, this has got real deep.
I was just looking at this and just seeing all these wee brand. He was like, "This is how I do the spring," and I was just like, "That actually." I was just imagining me trying to fit that to something, and I was like, "I'm actually in pain thinking about that." Like I just.
You don't have the patience.
No. Give me a problem to solve, and that is where I'm like deadly. But if you just say, I need you to build this and follow instructions, I'm like, no, I can do this without the instruction, and then it ends up them backwards or.
All I can think of at the minute is, and don't judge me, it's as you were away and you weren't going to dumb and stop crying, it's to stop talking.
Oh, 100%.
Shut up.
Dummy and or food. Would you believe it? I didn't take the dummy.
We didn't.
So
Is that weird?
because I want to keep talking. My ma says I was the quiet.
Sorry.
I said my ma says I was the quietest wee in for 3 months, and then one night I opened my mouth and I never shut it since.
Like, there's all the AI baby videos and TikTok and stuff like that. There was one, and it was a newborn just like an incubator. Put up the wee mic, it was like, well, how do you find this word? It's like, go back.
That was the best sleep I ever had.
Anyway.
But I think we took a bit of time then, we dipped the tractors for oil, checked back end, oil, then just did a couple of our checks and stuck the 3 banners in the back of the trailers, which we definitely should have had done the day beforehand, but...
Should have had one in the back of the
I think if I'd maybe thought about it when we were stopping Granard for that leg stretch, that would have been the time to do it.
Absolutely, but I think at the same time every single one was just like, oh, fuck that.
Sure, did we not suggest doing it when we stopped for food?
Aye.
And then we were just like,
Fuck that.
I was like, that's a great idea. Nah.
It took 5 minutes.
Because we had no bar or anything to stand on, you know. And, like,
That still was in the back of Joe's pickup that entire time.
oh, really?
Yeah.
That's when I came back.
Oh, fuck.
Well, still. Aye,
seems
that was it.
We, like, yeah, and then, like, when we done it at Kieran's the next morning, it was like, we could have done this yesterday, but I think everybody was just sort of like, just don't complicate it. Just don't complicate it. Don't add any extra to the...
At times I think we were doing well enough to function as well as we did.
100%. 100%. If you were to do it again, I definitely would size up the trailers differently and would have...
And the banner.
You know what I meant. Thank you, Adam. But I would have done it over the back door and all as well. Like a bigger one, I would have got Brian to design another one. But them banners are expensive.
I need to your salary more cost because you're too big.
Yeah, embezzlement, am I right? So, like, we left Kieran's and Kieran was like, you'll get the Cork.
Sometimes don't listen to yourself.
Yeah. Kieran was like, you'll get to Cork in like
2.5 hours.
and I was like,
No
alright,
trouble.
alright, Kieran. Literally, we're about 80 miles from Cork. Sure took what the guts of 4 hours to maybe 5 hours to do 80 mile yesterday. No, he wasn't lying.
Yeah.
We got out one of the quietest road in the country.
Which would have been one of the busiest roads in the country at a stage.
The old, when we got out of Kieran's past the grain mill and up over that flyover, and when we were coming over that flyover, I know it was, we were only just watching farm machinery around us.
Yeah.
But that definitely was a bit of a pick me up on the second morning.
That whenever the 3 tractors, I was just driving along, the next thing I just looked and I was going, what the fuck is done for
So I was like, here, this is Wild Quiet Road. Would we go if you were like, here, I'm going to sit in the hard shoulder. I was like, there's absolutely no point. I'm going to still sit in the hard shoulder. I was like, Dylan, if you went up the old side, Michael, and I went up the low side, this would be really cool. And then there was a clear road in front of us, so we
I just
did.
remember looking and just going, huh? And then the next thing was like, huh? Connor's there too. And then I was like, what about traffic? I said, oh yeah, there's absolutely no traffic here now.
No,
Next thing.
literally, I've never seen a more quiet road.
And then Joe was out on the other side of the road and I was like, what the fuck's he doing? And,
And then you seen me hanging out the side
and
of
I
it.
was like, ah.
I know, I'm raging, I never got any video of photos of that.
I actually have a video, real Top Gear style, of Joe and I coming by it, and the 3 tractors filtering in behind each other.
Yes.
I need to actually send you all that, but it's us coming by and you're out, and then the 40 comes into shot, and then she starts filtering in behind, and then Conor starts filtering in behind. Real, the only way I can describe it is a Top Gear shit.
It was.
It was a real Top Gear moment.
And then, so then, was the first time we got to after that
It's
catch?
actually the most liked thing I have on Facebook.
Yeah.
So three wide?
3 wide,
And I wouldn't even say,
1.4 thousand likes or something on it.
holy shit. And I wouldn't even say it's the best quality photo anymore.
But
No,
it's
because it was a
zoomed in.
it was potato quality, because I was just trying to get the photo. I wasn't thinking about properly getting the photo.
You just wanted to capture the moment, and then I zoomed in on it and like cropped it. So I'm only using 30% of the original photo.
Yeah, and it was sent over low quality over WhatsApp. If I had sent you the HD, because if you want my Facebook, I have it properly cropped, and it looks far. I think anyway.
I
It looks
just
far
wanted to
nicer.
upload it because I was like, I want content, because like I was constantly posting pictures. You were posting videos, and I was constantly posting pictures.
And I was
Aware of it.
updating the comments on where we were too.
Yeah. So it was actually quite a nice system.
Yeah.
It was like video,
Instagram stories,
media,
Facebook stories.
location.
Snapchat location.
That's right.
The Snapchat king.
Well, I'd say you have the company on to you as well. That's where you were doing.
Friend request has blew up.
Oh,
Mine's
yes.
still
So my Snapchat story is just, or my Snapchat friends is like bang 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 bang, and I was like, oh shit, I haven't looked at this in a few days.
I had 45 or something.
I'd well believe it.
Mine's in at 200 plus.
I had 127 today, and I was just like, holy shit. But that's probably from his story mainly. From the
But
first story.
between our 2 stories,
I didn't
probably.
actually put a story up on the wall.
I love a couple, but you would be big with the Snapchat would nearly be your thing, Joe, wouldn't it?
Well, it's
It's your way of promoting stuff.
it helps with the runs and whatnot.
See, I would have said I use Snapchat a lot more now than I would have done, because it's like, because so many people have added me on Snapchat from the podcast. It's a great way of promoting. For a long time, it was always Instagram. Now Instagram's playing second fiddle to Facebook. Our Facebook went up fucking 3,500 followers in the last 2 months.
We're 5,000.
I know, Facebook.
It's not going. It's probably going to sit there for a while.
Just showing Adam there, the 3 days of our trip, there is, if you're enough folk on Snapchat gives you creator tools the way you have it on Facebook and all. And it's saying I had an average of 30,000 views on my
Holy
Snapchat
shit.
a day.
Fucking doing well to get 1,200.
Oh, you have to
And
go
mine
in-
only allows me to have friends for some reason.
Yeah, just set it to a public profile as well.
You-
It doesn't let me. I can't.
I don't
No,
know.
it doesn't let
there's-
me have a
I just
public
post
profile.
stories.
Holy shit.
How can you tell that as well?
You have to go into the creator tools, which you have to be
Yours is
overriding.
probably the same as that then.
Aye, it's all
Because
there's
Joe and I were looking at that on each
twen-
other's.
20 or 25,000
Aye.
one of the days.
You just show me how to do that then. So
You have to go into your I'll show you after.
Aye.
That's too
Yeah.
complicated to explain now.
We don't need to do
The
it.
Instagram pages of the wee villages and towns we were into were watching the stories on Instagram too. Like Cashel and Horse and Jogging.
Ah.
I was like, oh, hello.
Like the village.
I didn't think it was actually showing. I was like, oh, shit,
On
hello.
how many occasions, Adam, did people stop you and give us money to say the road? Was it a few?
Couple times. That green cart stopped in Horse and Jockey. And him and the son were buzzing about it. I think the son was really buzzing about it.
The son, I seen him
Aye.
on TikTok. Yeah.
Aye. But they came up to me when I jumped off the back of the bed and said, "Did you get that on video?" And I said, "Aye." And he said, "I missed it." So that's why it took me so long, because I was actually emailing him the video I sent, and then he handed me some money, and I was like, "Oh, thank you."
There was go on.
Joe and I, of all the prep we were doing, I forgot 4 bolts for the cribs of the trailer.
They're
To hold the
they're still in my back seat, by the way.
All the rest of them. And we stopped at Farm Supplies, and I don't know where it was. Lovely woman working on behind the counter, and she was like, "You're not from around here, what are you up to?" And it was just as your trailer come round the corner, and I was just like, I could hear the fate coming. I was just look out there, and the banner just come by. And at that point, I said, I was explaining to her what we were
Butler's
doing.
Bridge.
Butler's Bridge.
I think that's
Oh,
Aye.
Farm
No,
supply.
Gavin.
Calvin's right.
The farm supplies, and the next thing, hold on, before you leave, I better give you something here. And she turned around and handed me a 20 euro note.
Here.
And I honestly said to her, "Look, thank you very much, but anything's appreciated." And even on the way home on Monday, when we stopped in, what do you call it? For food.
Monster Boys.
Monster Bush. Sure, there was the
Aye,
group of
the
one
ones-
stopped us at the bar.
Watched at the bar. They thought with the tractors and the low loader for the ones coming from
Straight Valley.
Stead Valley, aye.
Oh.
But
Straight. That was
And they were 101 questions when they heard what we were up to.
I'm just going to take back, because obviously I actually want to find out the Monday or Sunday night and Monday and all too in a bit, but
that's a blur.
moving back, so we came through the route on Saturday. Then was Horse and Jockey, then it was Cashel. We came round the castle, you were deadly Balula. I had said to Becca, I was like, "Oh, here, you should get a video of us coming round, and then just the tractors and the pans around the castle." And she was like, "Well, we're parked up at the filling station." I went, "All right, well, I never worry about it."
Here, don't you question my creative mind.
And then she was like, "Adam's just away in the toilet, sure, we'll say to him after." And I went, "All right, whatever, look, hey, if he can't pull in anywhere, then don't worry about it. And come round, the filling station was here, the castle's behind it." And I was like, "All right, no, fair enough."
Don't you question my creative mind.
And then you see it coming around, and I was like, dead. Like, so on Cashel, then we were going to go through Care, and I was like, no,
I did the bypass.
just head her out the bypass. And then
Mitchellstown.
there's a couple of videos sent to us from the Care bypass.
There's
Your man
Michael
stopped in a caddy
McHale.
van.
Oh yeah.
Near fell over himself trying to get out of the caddy van.
Right.
We were coming round, and he was snapping me to see where we were getting on he was been asking basically since we got near Kieran's the night before, and he was asking me for the route, and I sent it to him. Next thing, "Oh, I'm on my way, I'm going to try and catch you." And he literally got to the bypass and nearly fell over the front of the van, trying to get a video of us coming by.
I pulled it in front of us.
Who
What
was,
is?
who was your boys in the transit? We met them a couple of times.
I don't know about the transit.
The ones from beside us here. They were heading to the races or
They
something.
went in the race.
Oh, yeah, that was Mark Henry. He's one of the names on the banner.
Oh, yeah.
That was Mark Henry. Well, he was in with Gabby Damage, I think, or was it Dan Damage? It was one of the two, one of the McLaughlin brothers. It was in with them, but they were all, because Niall Topol actually had sent me a Snapchat, and he was in Granard in a bar, so they must have got a bus or stopped on the way down the road.
Yes.
And I was like, "Fuck's sake!" He goes, "You must have missed me." He goes, "Literally, lad." He goes, "I looked and you were away." I was like,
There was some. Definitely, I think the Saturday we had more folk. Where like my phone was ringing and one's messaging
I
me.
got Snapchats that I didn't see for a few days of boys sending us videos of us training.
That was the only thing I'll say about me being in the support jeep.
You were
I was
with
fit
the
to catch up with folk, and if like I had ones ringing and texting, "No, when do you think you're going to be here? When do you think you're going to be there?" And we got quite a few, I think, to see us over that.
I gave Becca the socials then for the podcast page because I was like, oh, I need you, because on the Friday we were getting so many questions on the page, and on Saturday we got fuck all questions on the page, and they all came through Snapchat, and I was like, I can't win.
I think it was Friday night when Joe and I put the Snapchats up of us basically finished for the evening with everybody, with Instagram or Snapchat handles. That's when Snapchat started going buckaroo, because boys realised we weren't just talking, we were
We were actually doing it.
We were doing it, and we
now
were
200 miles.
we were 200 miles away.
We like, see, it was a wild handy drive, like Cashel Care, Mitchellstown. We met my uncle for Moy coming over the bridge.
For me, it was a very cool time.
That was
to
cool.
drive.
Did Craig get a video of us coming over the bridge there?
Is that bridge? I commented, was like, what, I don't remember going to that bridge.
No, it was not abandoned.
I'm sure we
Here's
know
a
about
video
it,
of
man.
There's a bridge in Ban in here.
Yeah, the bridge in the middle of Bandon.
That's right.
I
There's
saw
a
a
traffic
video of
lights.
us on the road, probably flew the
Right.
zone over.
Because sure, he was stopped at the filling station just before them.
So you
that
would have
junction.
arranged in the drone, wouldn't it?
Aye.
Because like, that was quite a cool video.
I need a drone. After watching his video,
I,
I need a drone.
honestly,
We needed
that's.
a drone.
I was saying to
That's what
these
we do.
these men on the was it Monday we were saying, or was it Sunday? I can't remember.
I don't know what day it is even now.
Honestly, because I was at a wedding Thursday or Tuesday, and then on Wednesday I was out on the road. Thursday I thought it was Monday again.
Yeah.
Well, last night my message is tell a story.
Can we
too.
record? No, I'm going to be really busy. And then about 2 hours later, actually no, I've got the days mixed up. I'm free. But
Maybe an all-nighter in the middle of the whole thing didn't help. Though.
I was saying then the one bit I'm raging that we couldn't have got a video of was we nearly met Conor McFetridge, and only that bridge was too small, and it would have
And
been
the
chaos.
fast track had her hissy fit with the she changed gearbox setting, and then she wasn't wanting. There was something changed with gearbox setting, and he had to turn her off and on again, and then put her back into the. I think it was like road mode or something. She knocked herself out of road mode, and he didn't know you had to turn her off and turn her on again, or something along them lines. I've not.
So he would have, like, but he still beat us to the field in the end, because then that last bit in Cork on the Sunday, to be fair, before we got to meet Daly Agri, like, there was some hills and some narrow roads there.
Yes.
We lost a lot of time from that bypass when we.
Out by Watergrass Hill Carton
Yeah.
Centre, from Watergrass Hill down to Cork City, we lost a lot of time.
There was.
Met the class tractor.
What was
was
the
yesterday.
actual thing? There's serious youngers working down south. And
Oh, the tractors.
Like,
On Saturday, I would say what, a third of the tractors had yours on them.
The new holes we met coming up with the grain blisters, were raving at the wee doll with the trailer on we met, or the bale trailer we met was.
she pulled in with, and she was trying to actually fill her on.
Aye, and then the lower in front.
Was this the one we all had to squeeze past?
Yes.
Yeah.
I tried to reverse back, but she told me just come on. I was like, no, you come on. She was like, no.
No.
Alright.
She tells you what to do.
Well, alright, well, I listened.
She tells you. You don't tell her what to do. She tells you what to do.
Well, I reversed back, started going
She's
right
mate.
again.
She's well. All right. Well.
She's the body of the class. Oh god.
But that like them hills funny. One of the lads on Snapchat messaged me, and he was like, he was like, I was watching you in Snap Maps, because I'd messaged you, and I'm so bad with names at the minute because there's been so many. But I've been chatting to him steady there, and he was like, I was actually watching you to see where you were at. He goes, but I thought you hadn't replied. He's like, so I called them my mates at Watergrass Hill. He was like, and the next thing I heard a tractor, and goes, what the fuck's that out here? And he goes, just look, there's Scullin coming up the hill. There was the lads, we were coming up this hill, and there was boys, like 3 Lexuses lying in the yard on the left hand side.
Yes.
I'll literally go back and find his name after, but like, so sorry, I have the name in my head, but I just can't remember because I've had so many messages coming through. But I was chatting him for a bit there, and I remember just being like, there were so many occasions where people were just saying, "Oh, that was me sent you that," or "I heard you coming past," or "I was here," and I was like, "Fucking hell!" Like people actually give a shit about this. Like,
Was it when we were coming through Cork earlier in the morning when we were, you know, them big nice sweeping hill bends? Mind the boy was in the blue Isuzu pickup.
yeah,
And he
was
was
Snapchat as well.
he took a Snapchat and then or video of us, and then the next thing he flew by us and we'd have been coming around another cool corner,
He had
and
us
then he
on
was
he had us on one of the hills too.
yeah.
You can just hear us coming round it, but the hill doesn't look as bad in the video as it did. Do you remember the boy in the 68-20
The bales.
with the straw bales on?
That was in Watergrass Hill.
Yes, just in the after Fermoy.
See, whenever
I was cross.
see when I took the video, because I went past him and I took the video, he was the grumpy.
But like,
He was not happy.
I was like, should we go by him? And I goes, no, we're all farmers, we're all in this together, we're all stuck together. And then I got to the stage where I was like, fuck, we should just went by, don't come.
When we made that climbing lane, we would have been by him.
Do you know what the worst part is? I'd say if I had went by him in the Fiat, all he had to have done was put the throttle down and he'd have been
It would have been by you again, because that thing would do 45k easy.
Easily. And I was just sitting there being like, you prick, you can actually go fast here.
And he was dirty.
And he was dittering. And then we were all sitting in the hard shoulder and he was in the main. And like you've seen people literally driving by us and beeping the horns and flashing at us and say like thank you, and then being stuck behind him, and then lorries going out around him, and I was like, you fucking dildo, like you are a prick.
He was probably the most dangerous driver we encountered in terms of causing hassle.
I'm telling you now, that man was grumpy. By the look at his face, yeah, man was grumpy.
But I honestly think in terms of causing hassle for overtaking, he caused probably the most dangerous stuff of the whole run.
Here, people, no offence to people over the border,
They can't drive.
they can't drive. And they're scared of going over a white line just to go around something.
Or what I've seen a couple of times, you be in the hard shoulder and they be on the other side of the road against us.
There was the other hard shoulder.
And I was just like, there's a couple of times I was like,
That was
who's overtaking them?
I did some laughing while watching people. It's like,
Jeez,
just
so
Well, maybe
sitting there and there was some
maybe thought there was an invisible island in the road.
the amount of people that came up were sitting beside me, door to door, and I'm like, why are you still here?
and moved forward. What happened to ARS at one point?
Oh, fuck, aye.
The
I know, he more or less.
The
he overtook-
Yaris
when I'm
was-
behind, when I'm in front of me then, and it was like, sort of halfway over the road.
I think it was a drink driver.
Oh?
Oh, he was in something.
He was in something for it was sort of
It wasn't just oxygen.
like even when he was overtaken, it wasn't even going straight up the road, and then he was started overtaking, then it was near speed match to you, and then they would have dipped down, and then it was. We were watching him for ages.
It's like you turned on the 100 shot lighters for a minute and then you took nothing.
He doesn't want to blow the well for the intake.
No wonder the floor pan flew by.
Shut the laptop down.
No, but see, whenever we then got to Daily Agri, this is the worst. But I pulled, may or may not have been coming up to just before we got to Daily Agri. There may have been a Honda Civic coming our way, and I may have just went, fuck you, it'll be fine, and pulled across and cut across the front of him. Just trying to get on the road.
But the thing coming to Daily Agri was the gate was very well hidden. I thought.
Sure, I know. I slammed on the brakes and then remembered the no brake lights. Just
I think probably that's another shout out for the two ways. I was shouting stop.
That's right, you were like, Michael, stop. Michael, it's coming up and you're right. Michael, and I was like, oh, fuck, boom.
A footpath and a cycle lane with massive wildflowers that you can't see.
But then,
And then make two tractors go over.
I was turning in then, and then there's a man with two children on bikes.
Oh, they loved it though.
And I thought he was glaring on me.
They came in the field. Like,
Aye, they did.
They came and took pictures
I
and stuff.
originally thought they were glaring. I think they might have been waiting.
They could have been, because they were up and away.
But like, I was like looking, I thought he was glaring at me, but they were just staring.
Yeah.
And I was originally, what's this prick?
I
Like,
made
you know.
two cyclists stop, so.
But like we pulled in there, and then that was that, and then we just looked, and Sean rung me, and then we were all kind of like covering the whole area, and then the man had to go up through to get lunch, and then I was like, we got up to the field, and I was just like, oh, this is steep. And then at one point we were driving up to the airfield, and I started driving across the top of the hill, and I just went, oh, I don't like this.
It's to the point that Dylan was coming for it. It was like, oh no, I'm going to have to go to the medium ball.
It wasn't even the first time the full tip I hung her stone dead. The worst thing, I think, was like clones and the guard was out for that, was the ATM was robbed. And he looked straight at me, and I just hung her just stone dead. I just managed to get her clutch in time. Like, you dead bastard.
I am affronted. I just had to drop them in a box there for all the guards.
Then, obviously, I had never drove a TM before, so I was like, what the fuck's forward drive at? But I had hung her in, I think it was B4, B5, and then the back wheels, as I was getting up to the top, well, they were
happened to me
I was like, you're just going to fucking stay that way. So.
I was coming up, and then I was like, because I horsed her up the field, so high third, high fourth, and then the next thing I was hanging her in high fourth, and I was like, no, surely she's not dying. And I was like, oh, this is actually, that's weird. It was steeper than you thought.
It just sort of went.
It was
and then I was like, oh, and then I was on the third, and then it was fine, and I was like, I should probably put four-wheel drive on here, because I was scared of digging up the ground.
Sean Collins, TikTok of it, it does it justice. He just looked out.
See something in the
And I was just disappearing into the hollow.
He was telling me, so I jumped in with Sean for a wee bit, and not, to be honest, part of the reason was Sean always has a big following, and I just wanted to get in on that. Let's be honest.
Plain and simple.
Plain and simple. Like, I told him we were coming, and I wanted him to get a video of us, and I wanted to get a video with him. That's plain and simple how it is. He's followed us from Ahiohill last year, maybe before it. He likes a lot of our stuff. He shared a lot of our stuff. So, you know, I was like, right, well, I'd like to fall in with someone. Plus, originally he was going to set it up for us that we would have drawn silage. If they had been at grass, he was 100% happy.
I remember spending an afternoon with
for us
them.
coming out, spending an afternoon drawing grass. So I wasn't just going to turn around and go, alright, well, you're not at grass anymore, you're no use to us. Sure, we'll just see you later. I wanted to still land out. And it was cool to do something different and see something different. That field, he was telling me, the boys they got that ground off, they couldn't grow barley in the top field for years because they could never get any like, tractors or any slurry tankers or anything up to it. And only whenever dailies come in with a big kit, were they will actually able to get stuff up to it.
Where you're working with a big tractor, and I think the chap I was chatting to said that was the first time they had the triaxles up on that ground. Was this year?
Because it was that dry.
Yeah. Like, in a normal year you wouldn't want to go through that.
Like, I needed fucking forward drive to walk up it.
Craig couldn't get the van up it.
He got stuck in the gate in there.
Yeah.
I didn't like taking the debo.
I like my Jeep up.
I was going to say.
Turn
around, Joe.
That's your Jeep. That was his Jeep.
Joe was driving up the field and it was like, Joe done the smart one here.
Like, because obviously we were not tired now, I think I might even say that and be like, if I actually fall over, I'm just fucked to the bottom of the face.
I went up and parked sideways along the hill, and I went, shit, when I open this door I'm gonna fall out.
Admittedly, like, I ended up sitting in the combine having the crack with Sean, and admittedly probably took a bit longer than I should have, but it was good old crack to be fair, and I was sort of chatting to the man because he's coming on the pod.
Oh,
so yeah, he's coming up here for a trip in the winter to go and look at some beet harvesters and stuff like that. So going to
So you could be going up to even
That's
McGaw's.
exactly where he's going, and a couple of other places. So he says he'll be up. He's going to go and visit Gareth's shed as well. You know, up in Ballymena. So I was like, well, here when you're at Gareth's, you may as well come down to ours, like, and you can freeze to death in a cow shed in Port Malone for a
There's a
bit.
very distinctive voice, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Very distinctive voice.
But if you listen to him, how he talks about certain things, like talking about how, like he was telling me, he just goes, he's like, you know, I would have savage emotional intelligence, and I was like, right, bit of a statement to make, but what do you mean by that? And he was saying, he was like, I deal with people so often and deal with so many people, I can tell just from the way questions that people ask if they're going to get thick with me. You know, stuff like that. He goes, I've been dealing with people for so long, and he's basically contracts manager for Daily Agri.
Oh, really?
So
Okay.
that's his job. So basically, he worked for a contractor. Daily Agri bought that contracting company,
Okay.
and the deal was that Sean come with them to work for Daily.
Oh,
So Daily have a farm, 1,600 acres of cereals, 2,000 beef cattle,
small.
and then the whole contracting fleet. And
It's big.
Sean manages the whole contract side of things. So he's essentially the contract
Well,
manager.
you can sort of see on his TikTok some days when he's selling it in the Jeep or the van. I'm going here to see someone's the team at such and such. Then I'm going to this. Then I'm going to go and look at barley or go to look at straw, and you can tell sometimes by watching his TikTok that he is managing and running the whole thing.
He's seriously interesting, you know, and he's got a real way of speaking, very calm way of speaking. And even when you're talking with people, he's very positive, and he bigs everybody up. And that's really nice to hear from a man like I suppose I would really look up to and go, like, this man's done very well in terms of social media. And he was talking about, you know, everyone talks about the negativities of social media, and he was sitting talking about how, you know, he's got friends in all these places and people he's never met, but people he's friendly with, and etc. And I was like, you know, we sat and talked about that, and that's why it took so long, because we were in full flight conversation and that, and the fact with aircon, and it was great.
He's like
I know it's on the aircon you seen all weekend.
he literally is like David Attenborough of agriculture with that voice.
Yeah,
You know, you listen to him all day.
yeah, very soothing voice. So we left there.
Tracy's in the tunes and he's banging out the loads.
Tracy's banging out the tunes as hard as I'm banging out the laws. Then, to be fair, one of the coolest parts of the journey for me was going through the Jack Lynch tunnel.
That
was class.
That
That was very cool.
That was
That
surreal.
tunnel was not a kilometre long. Like.
No, it's about 400 metres.
Thanks for that warning.
Oops.
Oh,
sorry.
this tunnel, I get a video. It's about a kilometre. Next thing I see daylight, I'm like, oh.
Sorry, Jim's phone shut down when it was recording a video of me.
Yep.
Yep.
Herman.
I'm not gonna lie. She was very upset.
Oh, I know.
She went
Oh,
very, very
she
quiet.
came to
was,
me
I-
after. and she was
She
like,
I
was
just sat
so
there and I
quiet.
goes, hey Jim, I was like, what do you do? Like,
And then you can, you're sat now. Fuck that. After that.
so then we came out, and then you went on ahead, and the sat
Because I
nav,
couldn't get behind you
the
again.
sat nav route was saying go out the very first turn off.
Yep.
But I was on the radio going, no, don't do the first turn off.
And where was
go the
I?
second one.
Middle of the first turn
On
off.
the sand road.
On the skip
To
road.
turn right. Left lane to go straight. Nobody will let me in again. Next thing I hear is a Fiat going past me. And I'm like, for fuck's sake.
Direction, heard the fate from a kilometre.
I said the back was like, that's them.
The,
I could sense it.
the tunnel for me was you heard the feet, and then the next thing Phil coming the lorry, and you just heard the dot, 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 dot.
There's no way I could have got all of these in that one.
No, probably not. But it was, I just remember coming through this and I was like, this is surreal. This is absolutely class. Because I was like, we're literally going under the Jack Lynch tunnel in fucking Cork City. Like,
I was just like,
how
I
far are
want
we
to
from
play
under this?
bar.
What?
I want to play bar.
I'm gonna say this. To me, if something had happened to the tractor at that stage, we had Phil's lorry.
Yeah, 100%.
Like, to me, at that point, if anything went wrong,
There's a chiller on
I
it.
felt already went wrong.
yeah,
chiller on it,
but I was half an hour would have had him away and emptied him back.
But
But, you
Phil's
know-
still there as well. So Phil's in the middle of the country. Now, granted, he was doing fundraiser because he's very friendly with Jay from Precision Tints and Graphics, who runs it. But he's Kildare, so he's not that far from Thurles. He's also not that far from Monaghan, and he's not that far from Cork because Kildare's probably bang centre, middle of the country. Like, for our side, we were on the east, so like he could have been at any one stage. He was only 2 hours away. And Phil's the type of fella would get out of his bed at 4 o'clock in the morning if he had to.
But
I'm
no,
sure he's all got that measure of him by now. Like,
Yeah.
he's a good lad. Like,
to me, when we got through the tunnel, I was like, even if something does burst a pipe break, we're
you
there.
had hydraulic fittings and all, like we sort of screw-in fittings and all with you. Anyway, just in brake fittings and stuff, just
Just in case.
in case. But
Get us off the road job.
we come up then. Jesus, it was some pull. We should have actually went further straight again. We turned off the one for conceal. We should have went further on and came off at the viaduct.
I wouldn't know.
But the way it worked, we met you in the conceal road.
I
Oh, you couldn't have timed it better.
Aye, but you know why? Because he had his live location on and I followed the sat nav.
Aren't you glad?
What?
Aren't you glad?
Aye, but it was running out. It was like 4:30. It was over. It was 4:27. And I was like zooming in. I was like, we'll meet them here.
I think that was the point Jeremy rang me to see where we were getting, how we were getting on.
Oh, so I turned the radio off. I took that thick. I was like, off. I thought that's a tease for
We
20
couldn't
minutes.
tell. We couldn't tell at
And I turned it
all.
back on when I seen you coming.
But we got, like, that climb out of Cork City towards up the Conceal Road was some climb. And I was just like, after all, I was like, do you know what, we're close enough to Cork. If the temperature hand wants to start left, we'll be fine. And the one thing I have to say about my tractor is it may be slow, but it just hangs. So, like, I'm doing 26.50 normally. She drops like 25.50, and I'm just like deadly.
You're going that slow. The TM was half nearly dying because she was so low down.
Yeah, but like I'm not dropping that much in speed. She seems to just hang alright. At least the rev count, unless the rev counter's lying to me, which might be possible. But
Sorry, I was stuck paying Dylan and they had looked good.
I don't think at all like that was her. Like you'd seen, you're like, oh no, it's slightly windy coming our way.
there was times when I did look.
Somebody stands on the road and started blowing.
There was a couple of times I did look and I was like, how am I getting away from the 40 here? But then I kept remembering the 40's no turbo on it.
Yeah.
But then
That happened in the tunnel. There was a massive gap between these.
Oh, really?
I was like,
I was also holding off a wee
Oh,
bit.
right.
okay, fair. Just in case you had this flattening or something.
Yeah.
in that kilometre tunnel.
Yes.
Never let you that bad down.
A whole thing is to give up about.
I am giving up because all I
He can't measure it, so they're
all I
going to
saw
measure
was
it.
I don't know why they're not a giveaway.
I also said, who did I, and then back I was like, you told Jeremy that has for two, and I goes, nothing, I left at 8 o'clock in the morning, where would it be? And back
She
was
lifted
like,
it, he went, fuck
So
up.
I suppose what 7 o'clock in the evening.
and then we got the band, and I was like, what do we do here? And it was like,
Well, we were looking food.
looking fed. Adam then went in a wee hunger fit.
No, I had to disassociate. I had to take 5 minutes myself.
5.
I will.
He disappeared for an hour.
I nearly washed your car. I mean, I had my dinner, wherever it was, snack, and I was sitting in the back of the bed, and I was like looking at the car wash, like, fuck, I can wash that car. I probably should have, but I didn't want it.
But it was then, I remember like when we got the band and my fuel gauge was like, and I was like, we don't have that far left to go. Should be alright. Because Jeremy's really isn't that far from Band.
No.
Once I'm on like 7 kilometres or something, I was like, if I run a diesel here, it's just bad luck.
Which makes the previous year, you taking half an hour to 40 minutes to get to Jerry's from Bandon. Again, he wouldn't use
talking to
sat
someone?
nav. He wouldn't use sat nav until 24. So we ended up going the ring road around Cork to get it.
I was going to go to Billnabla instead. I went out the M40, headed towards Macroom, got to Albans and went, fuck, I have to go out all the shitty back roads here. Came down, trying out by like the Billnabla and all out that way, and towards Enniskeane that way, and then had to turn out and go back out to Jeremy's. Just header for Bandon. Once you get to Bandon, header for Enniskeane, and he's there on the right hand side. Job done, like.
You don't let this man think it.
Like,
And always use a sat nav.
from listening to you, I thought we were going to be, it was going to be a mission to get to Jeremy's.
No.
And then the next thing, I had my phone, set with a sat nav on it, because Jeremy had sent me as yard as a pin drop.
Yeah, of course.
And I was watching it, and it was
Wow.
Just pointed a bit
it was
up.
10 kilometres. Then the next time I looked at it, 2 kilometres. Then the next time 1, and we come around the corner, 2 big white stone pillars in the lane, and I was like, oh, we're there.
Yeah, I went on down the road, you seen the two Mingellies stuff.
Yeah. Well, when we got up into the yard, and you just come round the back of the yard, and the next thing I just seen the 2 Mingellies sitting down the bottom of the bottom of the big
It was
field.
very fun watching Falls up that night.
I'm really sorry.
Lots of different things happening right now.
I actually thought it was a spider, that's why I pointed.
There's a beetle walking across.
Oh, it's a spider, that's why I pointed.
Just break
No,
the
it's a
fall.
fight. A wave doesn't seem that big with a tree. By God, it's a big speed up for him.
When we got to Jeremy's, I was just like you can nearly call the journey done. at this point.
The Jeremy done.
The Jeremy done. And I was like, we landed in the Jeremy's, and then I was just like, I've been up this lane that many times, I know it. So I was just like, fuck it, I'm going full doors. I just sent it.
Phil didn't know.
No, Phil didn't know, and Conor was probably driving up about 2 million nerds, feared of scratching branches.
I wasn't tight to you, but I was fairly tramping on up the
It's a
lane
Stephen
with
off
you.
claim up,
To
like,
be
dude.
fair, watching Phil around that plane and that yard was impressive. Because I was like, nah, I would not be bringing a lorry
But
up
he
here.
said to me, Phil goes to me, he goes, I'm never taking your advice ever again if a yard's easy to get to. He goes, you told me. He says, and I quote, there's plenty of lorries that have been up here before. He goes, there have. And Jeremy's like, there have. He goes, clearly none of them boys ever give a fuck about their lights.
Well, I don't know if you got the Snapchat from Jeremy this afternoon of the Arctic grain lorry in
Yeah.
the middle of his yard.
Yeah.
But I think there's a noticeable absence.
She's a low roof as well, I think.
Aye, but there's not a bar on her. She's
No.
fleet spec.
Yeah.
Aye, he
Not
does
Phil
all care about
kinda-
Yeah,
I
not
actually
sitting
like
to
that.
that degree.
Not like tall truck or the other truck shoes.
Yeah.
Like it's a nice lorry that as well.
Lovely. The
And
two of them, he sent me a Snapchat as the other one there too.
She has had a wee bit of a doctor since we were last at her. Because I was coming up the field and I just planted her, and she just went like that, and I was like, oh, and I was like, did you map her? And he just went, yeah. And I went, oh. So she's well over the 7, like, and I was like, dead, like, this is class. I loved driving that lorry.
I never drove a lorry before.
I hadn't until then. It was great.
I'm really annoyed that I sat down with it, because I feel like he would have let me drive it too.
Well, to be fair, it was like Conor was standing there and he was like, "Do you want to do fast track?" And I went, "Can't really be arsed this one." And then I said, "No." And he was like, "You sure?" And I was like, "No, I'll be grand." And then a brainwave came. I am just been offered to drive Grassman's tractor.
Another
Yeah,
one.
no, I'll take you up on that offer. And then
Another one.
I got a phone call in from Gemma and say, "Get the fuck into that TM and get that fucking load tipped because Adam and everybody here wants to go home."
Well, that and Phil wanted to go home.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Phil,
Yeah.
partner
And then
Phil said
I
something.
I was like, yes, I'm obviously being quite selfish here, but
I think Phil was like, I have the measure of you boys now. I think I was like, I was like, ooh, okay. But we got to Jeremy's on Saturday night, and Jeremy just was running about with a can box of magnets, just going, here's one for you, here's one for you, here's one for everybody in the audience.
I was
You're
like,
getting the ball. I thought you said that.
I was like, I don't think. You take it.
But like, so we landed up to Jeremy's. He had then hooked on the NC, and he's like, "Sure, we'll go draw grass." And I was like, "Aye, all right, okay."
Well, it was originally we were going up to the field for the pictures.
Yeah.
Yes. And then landed, and he was like, "We could draw a bit here," and I was like, "Aye, okay."
I sort of put out. You just get up, and then Sal was like, "Don't hit the lorry." So
He
he
stood, yeah.
to make sure.
We all got round.
And then he jumped in with me once you boys were around. He's like, well, there's no point in me coming the whole way and not seeing the last bit of it. So he jumped in Jeremy's 10 with me.
And Grassman appeared too.
And then Craig appeared in the middle of the
So
year.
that was class. Jeremy actually came up to me on the Saturday night, like, and I was like, "This is like," he was beside himself. He just goes to me, he goes, "Michael, Mike." He goes, "I have 2 fucking Grassman's tractors in my yard."
Well, his wheels not going daft with the JCB.
Oh, he was going down.
he was the weird one.
They were all beside themselves
Yeah.
when they come down to the yard after we've been lifting and the fast track was in his yard.
Yeah.
Fast track was there, the TM was there, and then as I say, everything else was there, and it was just like everybody's like he was just like, holy shit, like he just said he goes, this is class, and I was just like, it is what it is.
It's just a Saturday
But
night.
you said this, you were kind of like, I feel like we've kind of nearly
Got
not-
acclimatised to Grassman.
Like you were like, because like whenever me and you started doing the pod, like if someone has said, "Oh, in 2.5 years' time, you'll be in where Mary come from." Mary didn't even exist when we started the podcast, but you'll be in a random yard in Cork with 2 Grassman's tractors. You'll have driven one, and they'll have done a video of us.
And technically they'll be there because of us.
Yes. Well, they would have
Yeah.
done that anyway, but
And I know,
Aye,
but
just
like,
for the JCB though, TM wasn't it?
it's even the fact you've a relationship now with an name, but
like
back then we were like, yeah, if this ever went anywhere, this would be really cool.
Well,
And I'm not going to lie, it was very much pinch me moments all weekend.
I think what really made me realise what Grassman is to the rest of the country is when I seen Jeremy's reaction to having the fast track in his yard.
100%. Yeah,
Because
absolutely.
I'm going to say this, as Gareth had on their 15 years video, we started with a fold-up table in the McAvoy Model Show. I remember said fold-up table at the McAvoy Model Show. I remember Grassmen starting off with one table, then two, then three, then the full side of the wee tea room,
Then Tully Glass.
and then the Tully Glass night started, and then the next thing. But the other thing is, like, so Conor, I went to Greenmount with him. So like everybody else, oh, there's Conor from, it's Conor from Grassman, it's Conor from Grassman. Oh, there's McFetridge.
There's McFetridge from Armoy, the fucking header.
Yeah, it's like to the point he would go by my house and just Snapchat, hello.
It is surreal. Whenever so on the Sunday then we all went to Cork City and this Saturday night I think we just all vegetated again.
Can I go back to Saturday at Jeremy's yard? And make a dick out of you.
Oh.
Whenever we came back down the lane and you decided to tip a load of grass.
Oh.
And you started tipping and you were like, why is that not working? So you tipped even more and I went, fucking batter!
To be fair, all it would have done was snap the cable ties. It wouldn't have pulled off the bottom.
I realised thick enough, but like,
Yeah, it was just.
I was doing some laughing. I
Yeah.
was like, you're trying to tip your fucking sword.
To be
I
fair,
have never seen you go so the fucks to give went royally out the fucking window, and you just were like, you were driving like a fucking Egypt. Jeremy was driving like a fucking Egypt.
drove in Jeremy.
It was like gorgeous.
He was I nearly put down through the cabin before they Sure, he was coming along and he done this thing. What is it happened? Or would she block or something?
Whenever she blocks, he just stops her and then he just keeps jolting back and forward to see if it'll put all the stuff up the spout so he doesn't have to get out and unblock it. And as soon as he's like, oh fuck, she's blocked, stood in the clutch and then just bang, feet stood under.
I was just like, because I was looking behind. Because normally I spent the time more or less staring at his wheels, waiting on him. But then I had been a while and I was like looking at him behind. I was like, well, where's he actually falling up? And then the next thing I was like, oh, and back and was just like, boof. And Jeremy just looked at me and laughed. And I was like, tired, like fuck out the ground, like.
Yeah, that was.
Like, and then we
Were
took
you
off.
in behind us there?
Yeah, because he was like sitting behind, and then I was just like, nah, I'm pulled out wide. If I had had
No
a
side.
crib off my shoulder, it would have been a much nicer load. He spent half the time nearly blowing over the trailer. That's why he wanted
Very
me.
nice.
That's why he wanted me in behind, so he could get the distance, so it would go like that.
I still need to make that video from that Saturday night, but yeah, I'm well aware that you can blow over that trailer. I'd be behind the trailer, it's like covered in grass. Like,
The thing was, when we were getting you over there, you do know that most of us knew what was going to happen.
I knew it was coming too. When I seen him coming along, I was like, fuck.
Yeah,
But I did give him the finger, but I don't think he realised why I was giving it.
but like to be fair, like the way I put it to tobacco was like, I know we're down in Cork, but this is Jeremy's holiday too.
Yeah.
And he was waiting for us to come.
Well-
He was buzzing for us to be there, and us doing a bit of grass for him, and us all chilling up in the field. I know for maybe a few of us it was like, oh, we've been here a while, everybody's tired, but ultimately there was that just, you know what, he's here, he's letting us store the tractors in the yard, he's facilitating this for us, he's part of the Ahiohill committee now, so he basically was like, whatever you want, I can get you, which we ended up, we'll talk about it after, the whole demonstration thing, but like, so you wanted to make sure he got something out of it too. So whenever he can fuck about and have a bit of crack, and I'm sure he wished all of us were staying, and truthfully if maybe the missuses hadn't been there, it maybe would have been a different story. You three nearly did stay.
Oh, we did.
I wish I would have after I seen the accommodation.
I didn't sleep that night anymore.
I sound like a baby there.
No, Cork City.
I slept
See if I'm
in
tired, I'm gone.
Single glass one.
You know what I'm
What's the crack with that?
My duvet was a nice towel.
My bed was a nice duvet.
I think I nearly would rather have than you had the one he had.
No.
I have slept on the floor.
No. That was a very uncomfortable floor.
I was starting.
Just
No,
And the worst thing is there's not a whole lot of room. I was like, I don't want Hugh to get up in the middle of the night and stand on me. So I put the duvet next to the wardrobe, and then I rolled over in the middle of the night, stood onto the side of the wardrobe, and was like, oh.
So, what did you think? So obviously we came to Jeremy's yard the next day. It was a cracker of a day, and we get everything started up. To be fair, Jeremy and Gemma made us a mean spread for breakfast.
They were
It feels really weird to hear that, but yes,
That was a
good
good, that's a full Kenna. That's a full Kenna saying. Made us a serious breakfast. Fair play. Whenever we were going down the road to Ahiohill, and I was behind Jeremy, like his 7.810's noisy, and then my tractor's quite noisy, and because we've both got the same turbo, it makes the same. Did you know what turbo my fit by the way?
When are we getting this full part?
You just hear the big out of his and the big out of mine. And whenever we were coming down the road, like the final stretch, the final 500 metres to Ahiohill, I don't normally get that emotional. I'm quite a cold person, and my eyes started to well up. It was just
It was the
I was like, holy fuck, like we've done it.
my what we've actually done this. That yes, lifting grass at Germany is always great crack, but that was behind the scenes unwind of a bit of crack.
Yeah.
You know, it wasn't the we're there.
Yeah.
Mine was, you see, when we were turned into the field, started coming up, and you just start looking, and the horizon was just tractors, trailers, and forage harvesters. I've never seen a sight like that in my life.
That's how we felt
Like-
last year when we landed them.
Somebody texted me, "What do you think?" And my honest opinion is the mecca for grass enthusiasts, the hardship of grass.
But no.
The mecca for the hardship of grass.
Like we came up and then we get signed in. I think Adam has the video of us pulling in the gate, and I'm literally screaming. And I was like, "This, like,
I jumped in on you.
like, I was like, this is unreal." But whenever we got signed in, Jeremy, he took off flying, and I was just like, "Fuck it, I'm way off after him." You were behind us quite slow, like.
I was taking them, to be honest.
I've been bounced to the moon.
See, he took off, and there's a video, and you just see him flying up the field, and you just hear me coming up behind him, and I was just like, even that's deadly, like. And then we turned right at the top of the field, and I got ejected out of the cab again.
I once we got to the top of the field.
Oh my God,
But
right.
did you not notice when the aisle where we got registered, there's that aisle through the middle of the whole thing from the car park?
Yeah.
Did you not notice as we started to come up the field, there was just all the phones were just starting to,
That was cool
to
as
come
fuck.
up,
Yeah. Oh, I
and
noticed that.
especially the top end.
Oh, it's just
there
phone
was just
after
phone.
phone after phone.
Say there was a guts of 1,000 phones out.
Oh, easily.
Easily, there was.
Easily.
It was, and ones, if they didn't have the phone out, their thumbs up and shouting "well done" and clapping.
Everything was just phoning. And I was like, I'd love her. There was one point I went to put her in either second or third gear. I went to Ever, and she just hit this bump, and I just went. I think by the time I came down, I had a clutch and go back into first gear again.
It was worse even, well, the TM, like, every time you go over the bump, your foot on
Yeah,
the
or your
roller,
bounce.
you're going.
You're nearly making it worse. It's like, yeah, no, I just swallowed a flight. Big old breathe in just before I started off and just fast manging.
And then
Protein.
We're only 2.5 hours into this now.
well, I
Did you
take
expect anything?
so we got parked up then at that point, and wasn't that when we got everybody lined up, fell in, and their pictures.
To be fair, that was when the big banner actually did come on.
That was yeah,
because you could see all the sponsors.
and it worked nearly, as we said, like a stand for most of the day. There was
That's
There
what I
was
thought we
folk
were
up.
doing with it. Like a stand.
was an
Did you know
informal.
about the demonstration?
I knew we were doing something, but I didn't realise that we were like the main event.
Yeah,
Oh, I had been
I knew that.
I had been asked
I asked
the day
for it.
before.
Oh, you asked
I
for it?
asked for it like
Like,
that.
could I be the centre of attention?
Pretty much. I was like, I said to Jeremy, I goes, are we going to get a bit where they can't have it? And he goes, he's like, we're going to bring you out into the main thing. I goes, okay, like the Tim Sheehan thing. He goes, yeah, except it's going to be used. And I went, okay, I'm happy with that. I'm quite happy with
Well,
My ego is for food.
that. My main character syndrome just went, push!
it was when that was surreal when we were lining up for that, and
Everybody staring at us like, I've never been scared in my life to have to follow the stage. Like, what if I take off and the grass goes down the front of the trailer?
Well, there was a Snapchat of the grass boy standing, and the grass just falling straight to my drawbar in the front of the trailer. But in my defence, that Mingeli is a different thing to sit beside because of where the spike position is compared to the rest of you usually all traditional harvesters.
And it's all back way to the reel.
Yeah. Whereas I thought he would put the spout back. No, spout sat nearly the whole left straight.
So you had to fill your own load.
I basically had to fill my own load. So, and the other thing was, I don't know if you've seen how close I was to the crowd.
You were first in the row, weren't you?
I left in the first row.
The first row.
At the bottom of the field.
Yeah,
And not even the bottom of the field, the first row the whole way down. Because the Mingeli, because of the spout position of Mingeli was pushing me over.
Yes.
And then I was having to come back across because I was literally nearly clapping the posts on the way down.
Jesus. Oh, I'm glad that.
Like there was a marshal going in front of me, waving folk back. There would have been there could have been a foot caught very handy.
Well, John Nady was driving harvester I was.
Yeah, I didn't envy you.
All I can say is I allegedly ran to the tail door at the start of it and went, swap clothes, that's right.
By the time you got there, I'm sure it was cool.
It was. Well, there were the bumps in the field, there were the bumps on the way down the Cork, but
Hey, that man, they're there standing chatting to him.
then I was just like, up and, right, well, I'll just sit in one place and then tear away.
I was standing chatting to him briefly, and like the amount of ones that walk up and just say things like "she's jammed to the balls, Johnny," and I was like, "I'm sure, Johnny, if you've heard that once, you've heard that about 100 times." You went, he goes, "I hear it now and again." I was like, "Well, at least you got a sense of humour about it, because that'd be fucking scondered."
like your man, you can do it.
But
I was beside that big Heston, like that's class.
I didn't
See,
even
I'm
realise
doing
she's a-
14 grand. I don't even want to buy it for.
I heard you there.
Dylan, are you better?
No.
In that credit union number.
You can't get parts for them. I thought they'd be similar to New Holland, but they're not.
I thought it looked like an FX. I thought it was just a terracotta FX,
Our
but
predecessor to an
yeah,
FX. No,
but-
apparently they're hard to get parts for. Them on a Case Mammoth, they're also very hard to get parts
Yeah.
for.
No, so we got all parked up, and then they done the first part left in the day, and I would be friendly with Dennis Kelleher, who is also on the committee.
And he has
So-
that deadly 3650,
Yeah.
isn't it? Oh, he's class. I said
And
a little bit here.
when I had originally said to him about coming down, he thought I was just coming down to see it. Then on the Saturday night, he was like, you're part of the madman. And then very quickly after that, we arranged that
Because
we
you were
were
like,
gonna-
I'm away with one of the boys I would be friendly with, and I was like, and then the next thing I was like, there's you. We were watching the tractors come round, and it was like MB track, whatever, Brendan Marshall, and then there's you.
I did the same. I was like, you?
Yeah, because I just took it up because originally when I was chatting to the organisers, they were like, you're wanting to lift with Dennis, and I thought at the start I'd let everybody else tear away in the first field and I'd just go to the second field that we were lifting for the first part of the day. And then the next thing, John and Neil was coming to the field and they're like, sure, we'll put the two Northerners together. So for the first field then I ended up lifting beside John and Neil for a couple of rows.
He goes to Ahiohill every year, you know.
I didn't know
Yeah,
that.
he was at Ahiohill last year too.
Yeah. With tractors?
No?
So it's,
He drove down as a tour egg last year. He flew by me in the motorway, and I wasn't slacking. And he flew by me in the motorway, and the way up home as if I was stopped. Like,
well,
do you remember that?
There was even, the young fella that drove the 3650 last year. He was down, he was the one that was sorting out the harvester in 7810, and then he came in and put the wheel in front, the wheel behind, so we could reverse and put her into the 12 position, you know.
no, John, sure, when we were in stopping band, and the next thing Johnny and the big hand that
I remember you
took.
shouting, "Nah, Johnny!" And I was like, "Who the fuck's he shouting?" And you're like, "That's Johnny Neal." And I was like, "All right." Did he know us?
Oh, he was tooting and getting on and
No, because he was chatting us then after,
yeah.
and but he. Oh, fair play.
yeah. But no, I ended up beside Johnny Neal, and I'm not joking. There was some Southern Irish boy on a Ford 5000. I thought he was going to have a hissy fit because he didn't get beside Johnny Neal.
Really?
Oh, he was trying to push in the queue when they were putting me into the queue.
Jeez, that's the last man I don't want to sit beside an harvester. Not gonna lie, I'd be scared of getting the jaws chewed off me.
And so we done the first bit left, and then I think that's when you took over Don with the 390.
I don't talk about that. That was a complete disaster.
Aye, fill us in on that.
We just.
So I thought you went straight in 390.
That was meant to be the plan, and then on the night before, whenever you all went down to the yard, whenever we probably should have finished, Jeremy let me have a run on the 7810 in the harvester, which didn't go bad, but I wouldn't say it went well. There was a bit of grass everywhere. And I says, oh sure, if it's not busy tomorrow and if you're running about organising it, if you want I'll take a 7810 full load or two. Was completely shit myself, thinking I might have to do it, but thought it'd be alright. And then he's like, no, I don't have to do any organising now, I'll just take a 7810. He says, you bring Ewan with you and show him how to full load, because then whenever you come back, then let him tear away and I'll let you in the harvester. It's like, that's dead on. So I went on, and then just complete madness started. There's harvesters everywhere, there's grass going everywhere. Jeremy was nearly dozing some boy up the foot.
He fucking was too, eh?
Oh, there was one of the marshals out standing waving him to slow down. And I was like, because he says, at this here, you don't go any higher than second. And I just seen him second, third, fourth.
Fourth is what he does a lot.
Yeah. And then I could hardly keep up in 390s. Like, I might have to get a mad one. I was like, nah. But no, I got a load anyway. And then I was like, oh, I don't really want to take this to the pit. But then went on a magical adventure to the pit.
That is an adventure. It is. We went up the short way. We went up the short way. We went down the route you come home.
Aye. No, like I went through the long way.
Aye, no.
And then got to the pub and went, oh, this is tight.
We had everybody just Snapchatting us outside
Yeah.
the pub. Like,
We had everybody just
syndrome
standing.
just went through the roof again.
No, it wasn't really. It was the hills up and down, because I'm not a big lover of 390s for power. And there was times that there was like a 8210 Ford or something behind me, and it was trying to push me up the hills. And I thought,
I
this
should
isn't
try
good.
that last year when she didn't have a clutch.
Oh, she's touched on her since?
Oh, aye.
Oh, that's
Well, still 390. The clutch is still about 6 inches higher than it should be. You're sort of like legs like, oh, she might take off at some point.
It was like I went to put her in the. So you know it's 1, 2, 3, and then over.
Yes.
Like high low, and I came down Jeremy's Lane last year on the road, so I took the 390 down, and so it was like 1, 2, and then I went to change to 3 and just fuck.
We got the pit anyway, and then got her tapped eventually, because I have never used a tiller as old, and I thought, oh, it's a size tiller, the door will open itself. So I tapped it up, it's like, oh, the door doesn't open itself. And I got it tapped anyway, and then I went to put it.
She had a handle on the back.
Yes. And then I went to put it down, and I was like, there is no down on that spool lever. The spool lever is sitting where down is. And then oh fuck, what do I do here? And I was running about. I didn't even have Jeremy's number. I started ringing people. I thought, no point in ringing you, because every time I'd rang you the past week, you never answered. So I rang Conor, and he sent it to me on WhatsApp. Didn't have my 4G on. Rang Hugh, sent it through to me. Rang him, no answer. Sitting in the yard like, oh fuck. And all these people stopping. Are you having a bad ball? I was like, no, I'm just sitting here with the tiller on the track.
You looked at me funny. He tapped up the trailer the night beforehand. You started tapping and reversed back. And the next thing he put her up, tapped the load, and I was like, here, watch, just telling him how to do it, because I said to him, like, have you ever done all the certain silage before? And he goes, no. I goes, right. Everyone has to learn. Not a problem. I said, right, your first mistake was you drove forward too early. He goes, now you're going to have a load of grass. Pushing your tail door against a bit of grass. I was like, so just make sure you get the load of grass out first. And he was like, that's grand. Pulled him forward, that was fine. I goes, right, and I put the trailer down, and he just went. And I looked down, and I was like, And he was like, And I was like,
I would also be like,
And then Jeremy.
Things that make you go.
And Jeremy just came down and went, oh yeah, there's and then I'm not going to try and butcher his accent there, but he was like, oh yeah, no, there's a thing you have to pull here. And I was like, mechanic. So then you pull this lever.
was it Baylor's way?
No, it was like a metal bar. Was it
No, he
not?
put Baylor Twine onto it for me. And then I was like, oh, I swapped that over. He says, no, you didn't. Oh, that's right, I didn't. He says, just pull her up. So I pulled her up and I went down. He's like, right, fuck this thing, I'm parking her and that's it. I'm not getting on this thing the rest of the day. And something about, I would say probably the sleep the night before didn't help, but after I get back to the field, I just was not arse with anything anymore.
You are a broken man.
You're a broken man on Saturday night.
Yeah, oh, fuck.
You were
that was not
standing
good.
beside the ambulance. You just kind of, do you want to get in? You're like,
I'd say what nearly killed you was you no longer driving because you drove to Carrickdouble, like.
Yes.
You know, and then
And
after
I was grand, and then I got on. I thought, oh well, you instead of the full length down, we know radio. It's like I'll get on with him, and I got into the car, and it was just a nice seat, and I just was ready to fall asleep. But it was alright. Once we got to Bandon, and he was chatting away, and we got out of Bandon, and I was like, right, I am just going to fall on the floor at some point. I'm just waiting for it.
and then didn't fall on the floor whenever it counted at that time.
No, well, I mean, I fell onto the floor, just didn't sleep.
I was lying there and I was like, I was like, here, I'm just going to nod on. She was doom scrolling and I was like, I'm just going to nod on here. And then the next thing I hear is Becca. And I'm like, what the fuck's heck? And me lying there just being like, I'm not sleeping. So, after then, that was alright. We got the loads tipped then as well. Went back to...
Is this, we're still on the Sunday?
Sunday.
Aye.
Well, in between times, obviously, we've done our main part that you became the main character of the whole thing. Great job. Probably Michael. Then we all sort of parked up, we got our photos.
Yeah.
Everybody else moved away, that was grand. One thing I have to say I noticed, yes, as Hugh says before, like, you know, the grass and that, you don't realise how fucking big a brand they are until every other third person stops to take a photo with their tractor.
Apart from that boy that didn't know who they were.
With that as well.
Who are they?
It turns if you're over 40, you've never heard of them before.
So,
and then-
any contractors?
So yes, so a woman came to the door and was, you know, sort of asking about the rob and like what the crack was and all that. So I tried to explain, and then she was like, and "Is this your tractor?" And chiller, and I was like, "No. This is Grassman's or Garth called that owns Grassman." And what are they? And I said, "Oh, they're an agricultural clothing brand, I suppose now, and they do videos." But why did they have a tractor? And I was like, I suppose they've sold enough and they made a bit of profit and then they bought a tractor.
The tax man.
And then she was like, but what did they do with it? And I was like, to be honest, not a wild lot, but it's in this position where you can use it for charity purposes. Right. Walked off. Then the husband was no word of a lie 20 minutes around that tractor. Until it. At points, Adam pointed out, he is below the trailer. Why is he underneath the trailer then? So,
is that your man on the phone too?
yes, he was underneath the
I was
trailer.
like, why is this man on the phone running your wheels on the back of that trailer?
So then he came over and he was like, "Can I have a wee word with you?" I was like, "I know, 1200 something," and he was going to say, "Oh, it's lovely charity you're on your doing." Nope. Where's your tractor? Is it out of an agency? And I was like, no. Grassman own the tractor. Right.
And who are they?
And I'm like, sort of half explaining it again. I was like, right, so it's not an agency, no. And then I think somebody else was like, I think he's looking to buy the tractor. And I said, well, he chat to Garth, not me. It turns out that the employees of Grassman, at times, you know, in regards to people who don't watch YouTube or not, they have a hard time figuring out what Grassman actually do. So that became a bit of a running joke.
Conor and Craig did say that as well.
They were like, yes, Grassman, why do you use cut grass? Or why do you film cutting grass? Or
Sure, why would you be filming people cutting silage? Believe it or not, there's a market for that.
The ones in work, I'm like, oh, grassland. They're like, what's that? And I'm like, oh,
is that weed?
Oh. I'm like, cool.
did they? But so yeah, then obviously afterwards, we had driven down and you were like, I need more silage in my trailer. It's not full enough. So you put it in the bottom of it. 10 minutes later we see the
I back up again. It's done.
He didn't get any more grass in this trailer to fill it in.
Do you
So
remember?
then I was like, fuck it, I will drive down to you.
Yeah.
So I drove down to you anyway and you're like, oh, I didn't get any more, blah, 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 blah. You're like, come on, we'll drive over this way. And I was like, I didn't really care at this point, so
This
we'll
was
go on
the
around.
laughing about session.
And then next thing, fucking three
Like
young
crows.
like two 10 series and a TM just going flying around and
Oh,
inside.
aye.
And then this whole family erupted and they started taking
Them
photos
boys
and
are
that.
very happy though. They were
Aye,
buzzing
that was
for
fun,
photos and
McCarthy.
stuff. Your first one came flying beside me, and I was like,
There's a wee 7610 had an almighty po.
They do pull really well, like, I know
Bit of a
me
way,
neighbours.
but almighty po.
Yeah.
A bit of a way.
I always, well, them boys that came up, I was like, oh, this is what grass might feel like. I was like, I don't know if I like this.
Yeah, it was definitely surreal. Like when we got out the tractors, I don't know about you. We had just done. We had one's main ask us 101 questions, but the 40.
But the cooler boy, whenever I got there, was chatting to me about the grassman's tiller and all, and I was just like, this is a cane tiller, but then I realised that far down that a cane tiller isn't like a tiller that everybody has compared to here.
There's a few boys have them, but not everybody has
Yeah.
a cane. Like,
Because I was kind of like, wow, it's a classic skin filler, but not.
because everything down there's a Brahan or a Dilly or one of them. Or
Lee
There's
tiller.
loads of Lees about.
I didn't think Lee trailers still existed.
Just in
In the wild as such. Yeah, but
Do you know what amazed me the most about Ahiohill? The amount of super singles on trailers and double.
There's different ground.
Different ground. Everybody's running about in super singles, and there's us. Like you go into a field of super singles, and Conor's dad looks at you and goes, "I don't know if I want that trailer around my field."
But it's whenever you see the aftermath of it, that's
Oh, you can tell where I've been.
you know what? I was carting with grain trailer super singles last night, and you could see everywhere I turned.
Oh, and even a dump trailer's even worse. You try to take a dump trailer through ground that's a little bit wet, and just
My mum made a good point, because I obviously was like sunburned, we all were. She's like, aye, you're that far down, you'd almost be in line with London. You're that far south. I went,
well.
I mean, not as far, but like, you are further south than you think you are.
South Wales,
So
anyway.
the grind is,
Oh, it's
Right,
much better.
right,
Oh,
like-
yeah, Cork gets a far better climate
Yeah.
than us. And sure, is it in around Wicklow over there, that area?
There's a grain belt.
The grain
There's
belt.
some grain belt.
They nearly get dry, they nearly get drought. That's where Country Crest is, isn't it?
No, they're nice.
Or are they further up than that?
Oh, they're the Skerries in Dublin.
Ah. I thought they were
It's another thing if you're into your tractors.
Summer
It is worth the thing.
Summer we will go. Gareth, I think, had tickets for us last year, this year, or whatever, but
You did?
yeah, he said about it, but neither of us could do it.
Oh,
If there was something we both couldn't do it.
but then I suppose the other thing on Sunday was eventually, got to go in the JCB, and then had to go and tap the load eventually. But and I eventually got to a run going flat out, where to go flat out. Didn't want to go back, not go back.
I gave Conor McFetridge a run on my feet then as well, because you were on at me, you were like, oh, give Conor a go, give Conor. I was like, this club's not going to care. And I was like, do you want to run? And he was like,
Let him more than I do.
and he was like, I would love a run in that tractor. And I was like, alright, there you go. And then back to the whole thing about old men and Mercs, but it turns out it was the man that owned the farm where we were all tapping silage, so yes, you can't get too annoyed. But Conor was coming up the field and he fed her fourth, and the next thing there's just this old silver Merc, brand new, like 17 plate Merc, just dittering up the field. This is where the whole hatred of Mercs has come from. The bodies and the bends are there, and you just see Conor in the tractor just going, like, just because he was
He had texted me a day or two before. Do you think Michael, if I get down there, do you think Michael will let me get her on the feet? And I was like, probably would I?
Here, could he drive it, anyone drive it?
You're good at her. You're steady in
I'm the patience you said I have on it.
I've driven the handbrake on a many times.
I mean, I haven't done that
But
yet.
then again, whenever you look at them, well, one side is PTO, but it looks like a handbrake, the other side is
Is
also.
that what that other thing is?
PTO clutch on handbrake.
And then
Should I try driving her down that field with the trailer on it, the really steep field? Didn't realise you had her in low, and I was like, what the fuck is this? And I stopped and was like, Dylan, you know what you're doing.
That was actually one of the things that happened to me on the Sunday with us going alongside Harvester. I was like, I don't know how fast these boys are going to be lifting, so I was like, right, middle box, because I don't want to be sitting constantly on the clutch.
Yeah.
And then 2-4 for the first run, I was like, fuck, we're barely moving, like it must be a really slow demonstration. Then your man, the Heston, left a bit of room for Hugh to go on up the field, and then he took off, and then I would put her in the mid-fifth. and I was just like literally sitting on like top of the rails, and I was like, oh, funny what he hears us, they're just gonna be like, oh, what a dick. So then we come across the top of the field, I had to stop, put her in the hay box, and then go, and your mom was like looking at me as if to be, and I was just like, hay box. So then came along, first stop's fine, and then for a while we're up in the high second, and I was like, oh, this is great, I can do this all day. And then he started lifting really slowly while I was still in high second, and I was like, I have to sit in clutch. Then I was back in the hay first, then I was back in the hay second. I was like,
You see, they slowed us all down to get all of us in the line
probably for a photo or something.
for a photo or a video with all the grass coming up the spout, I think.
Yeah,
For sure, they stopped us when we were all, when we were about halfway through it. They stopped everybody and got that photo of everything in the middle of the field.
Right.
I was just living the life in the back of Joe's back up. Also,
What about that Craig's drone shot through between each other?
That's
that
class.
shot, maybe I was like, I need a drone.
Becca was sitting and she goes, ooh, and I was like, I didn't even see it. I said, "Oh,
It's
she
tiny.
goes- She goes, that drone, she goes, merely hit your tractor. I think it was almost an element of, oh fuck, I nearly clipped his radio area.
Yeah, he did actually say he nearly hit your area because he didn't realise.
Yeah.
Like, on the new stuff, he's used to watching out for it, but on the 110, it's like.
It's probably in the lot run, probably at the back of the cab.
Yeah.
I'm the only boy at 110 in the country that actually has a permanently mounted to a radio. Don't know. Shouldn't be. Surely not.
No,
Bristol's on.
McEwan's have down.
Frack Only.
Frack Only, aye, they would all have them, but.
Frack
Like-
Only. If he still has her. I don't know if he still has her.
But that definitely was surreal when we were all lifting in front of everybody.
What happened? So then, what happened to you after? Because we were like, oh, we're gonna head up and on up the road, and then the next thing it was like, oh no, they're still down there.
Jeremy offered Dylan 3 pints.
That was a very hard offer to turn down.
Dylan was broken up until the point 3 pints were mentioned, and then he bounced out the amrock, and I never saw him again.
Drink responsibly.
Nah, those are free.
That was basically, and then there was pints and more pints and some more pints, and then we ended up throwing wee square wheels at people. Like we wanted to put them onto the tiller, but then the ones that were throwing them back off, and it was just a complete madness. And then more pints. A pile of boys jumped that old John Deere that did that run from Malin Head. There, I would say that about 4 or 5 folk just jumped on there, and they went to the pub where it lay until I'd say probably Monday evening. Because it was there all night, and whenever we were passing Monday, it was still there. And yeah.
Still more
I brought the 40 back to Jeremy's yard, and I'd said to Dennis, oh, I don't know what's happening if I'm going up the road tonight or not.
On the topic of you bringing the 40 back to Jeremy's yard, we came out the road end, and you said to me, "Is like, I'm actually just going to go on here, Michael." And I was like, "All right, dead on." And then I blinked, and you were like 3/4 of a mile. And I was like, "Oh my god, I was like, that thing's so fast compared to my tractor."
Yeah, and the funniest thing was I wasn't even fully leaving you behind. I slowed off.
I just looked and I was like, "Oh wait, come back."
I think the funniest bit was you were like, "Are you still Jeremy's?" I was like, "I'm parked."
I was like, "Oh."
But no, I got back, and then I think it was you, Adam, were like, "Yeah, do you know Dylan's in the bar?" And I was like, "All right."
You took me back down the road.
You left me to the field,
Yes.
and then he headed up the road
Yeah.
at that
We
stage.
didn't realise that he was. I thought he was still down there. We used next
Yeah.
time did I stop?
We met him,
Change the car, change drivers.
No, on up from that, the one that you pulled on, I think, to go to the toilet or something.
And we were driving out, and I was like, "What?"
And he was like, "I'm not following you, I swear."
No, he said, I said to him, "Are you going to join us?" And he was like, "I think I'll just go on
I
home."
thought he would have joined you. I was surprised.
I have work on Monday.
Oh.
He had afternoon shift on Monday, I think it was.
Fair enough. He's like, no, I think it's time to point it for home because
And at home.
if I'm honest, like I would have, and next year I will do this next year. I am staying down Sunday. I am doing that.
Same
next
if I
year.
get the chance, it'll be.
Would have been far
Even
harder.
do a lads weekend, out at that day.
100%.
Oh,
absolutely.
They, so they had a charity auction in the pub.
I was looking at them square wheels.
They were offered if you want a load of square wheels in the trailer wheels on the pub.
I did hear this.
So was it the start with square wheels?
How he was on to me about following the trailer.
Yeah. But he didn't. He won the. He bought the John Deere, or not the John Deere, the New Holland drivers pack. You know, the coat and a bonnet, or a coat and a boiler suit and a winner. That's sort of the stuff you get from a dealer when you buy a new tractor.
Something like Cambridge, something like there.
So I think that was the first lot, or at least that was the first lot we seen sold. And then the next thing, your boys done the run the John Deere. One of them disappeared out and the next thing you just heard the clunk of the toolbox on her, and he pulled out a John Deere jacket, and he was like, "I better put this into yeah, I better put this into the auction before it gets forgotten about." And I started bidding. I was like, "I'm going to bid on this." Let's just say pints were definitely working at this stage, and I was like, "I'm going to bid on this," and I bid it to €185. And they were looking for 100. I was 180, and then it went 185, and Jeremy grabbed me and lifted me till I hit the roof off the thing.
So you never came out.
And the whole place just burst out laughing with me just hitting the roof, quite literally. And didn't win it, but yeah.
How much did it go for?
210. I ended up. And then there was a couple of things. There was one thing I was trying to bet on for. I was just like, I'll get the bids going. And they weren't taking my bid, so I just yelled 165, and you could just hear the whole place just erupt in laughter, because I'd never heard 165 in a northern accent, sort of a Northamptonish accent. And then that just sort of set the scene for the rest of the evening.
I'd say I would have been class too. Like,
well, there was a pint of Guinness auctioned off for €130. The last lot of the auction was a pint of Guinness, and it was like €1, €2, €5, €10, €20, €50.
I'm here for a pint of Guinness.
That should have come another 12 long way.
And whoever won it literally sunk it.
didn't even enjoy it.
He just sunk it. Just
No, you can't like Guinness that. Seems like it's not ice cold. Yeah.
But that was, and I think from that the carry on started. Would you say, boys?
Were you out to 4 o'clock in the morning or something? I heard.
No, definitely not.
We were home and in bed at that point.
No, I thought, right, by the time we come up the road, and then I get my car here, which Hugh parked at, by the way. I bought the tractor and he took my car.
Because he had to go round the two.
So Hugh parked it there, so blame him. I was like, right, I could here get my car, and take Hugh back to his and go back to mine. I was like, I'll be going like 3 or 4. I was like, I can't really be bothered going home at that time. I may as well just stay now.
Yeah.
And then the crack started.
Jeremy was mad for us to stay.
100%. Like, and to be honest, like, we stayed at Jeremy's house last year, and it was savage crack. And if you were doing it again, and it was just the boys, you would just stay at Jeremy's.
Oh, definitely.
You probably nearly wouldn't sleep.
Well, it was different this year because it was the big charity thing. Like,
Oh, absolutely.
you know,
And
if it was just us going down for the crack like that.
what I would try and do, if we go down the next year on, Jeremy has 2 tractors. Someone can take the major if they're brave enough.
Aye, go on ahead, then I'll do it. Might not come back like that.
Only man ever to explode a major back end. But if you could fall in with a couple of other boys, if there's anybody I knew that had like a Fiat or something, because obviously I would try and stick with what I know, because it's nothing I can sort of half drive now. I've got a bit of experience.
I could try and bribe JJ O'Brien to let him drive to Florida.
He probably would now, if he doesn't get rid of her.
Hopefully he doesn't get rid of it. I don't know if he ever will get rid of it.
He's Limerick though, isn't he?
No, Tip.
Tip?
I think he's Tip.
Well, you just say, look, I'll drive it down for you.
He lorries the whole thing.
I know he does. We can just throw Conor off at the side of the road and just go, right, Conor, see you there. You talk about being scared of... Gareth Gold wouldn't care.
Script the trailer. I don't know how JJ would feel if you were...
You seen how I was driving cars tractor and drilling. Granny was going through around. Big time. But here, it's all good.
Same time again next year.
What we taking next time?
Norway.
Think if anybody's made it this far, thanks very much for listening to the madness.
from all 6 of us this time round. That's lovely.
Thank you.
And remember, 7th of September, Mulligan Sector, Thuckroll.
Seriously, don't miss it because it's class. We done it last year and it was savage. And
I watched the tractor having loaded bales and been up to 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning and been very tired and grubby, and then had to leave it early to go and things. So it was worth the effort. That's a fucking good day.
I did a full spiel on the podcast.
You did. Appreciate that.